Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the infamous Sylvia channel.
Hello.
Today is going to be day 2 of the reenactment of Robert Sylvester Trout in New York, which is the Eastern District of New York federal charges. Mr. Kelly has been charged with racketeering, transportation of minor, the Mann Act, and etc. What we're doing today, since the mainstream media does not give you everything that you need to know, we decided to do a reenactment of the transcript. So everything is that we're reading right now is directly from the court system. So I would like you guys just to relax and enjoy our presentation today for what is happening in the court. We have today all of our individuals. We have Geronda, Ms. Geddes, Nicole Blank-Becker, court deputy, and we have Kanik, as well as myself. I will be playing the role of Judge Ann Donnelly. So are you guys ready? And I will be showing the transcript along with the individuals reading the transcript. So relax and enjoy. All right, we are ready. Court deputy. It's my court deputy.
I'm right here.
It's your turn, court deputy. You started off.
Am I at the United States District Court? Is that where I'm at?
You're on 211, 211.3.
Page 3 and 211.
Okay. I don't have page 3.
No, page 211, line 3.
I don't have page 211. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
211.
Line 3. Okay. All rise.
Everyone could be seated. Okay, today, before we begin, I have just been kind of keeping in touch with our epiduralist. I don't know how to say that. And I know everyone is vaccinated, but I think if you're not talking, let's all stay masked. Just why borrower's trouble. I don't know what that is. Just why borrower's trouble. So I think if someone doesn't have a mask, we have them. But I think that's what we'll do, unless you're speaking. And I don't think there's any need to tell the jury that. The second thing is, let me just check one thing with our court reporter. The other thing, I guess there's been a request for transcript. I don't think there was anything that can't be released in those from yesterday. So, and obviously that we can include the sidebar conference, but I think that's fine. So as far as yesterday's transcript, I think it can go as is. And then I think just on day-to-day basis, I'm going to ask both sides just to be aware, and we will also take a look at it. But we should be aware if there is anything in there that can't be public. Okay? All right? All right? Anything else before we begin? We bring the jury? We'll bring the witness, and then bring the jury. Ms. Geddes?
Your Honour, the government has a couple of housekeeping matters which we could raise now or perhaps at the lunch break, depending on what works for the court.
Let's get the show on the road. If they don't have to be raised now, anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. Yesterday, during a direct examination of this witness, the government cited her full name, and I just want to know whether or not we are still operating at first name only with this particular witness.
We did not request that. She testified using her first name only, so you can refer to her by her first name and last name.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, let's get the witness. All right, let's get the jury.
Your Honor, can the witnesses take off her mask?
Can I just see counsel on the side? We don't need the court reporter. I just want to ask you a question. All rise. Court deputy.
Sorry,
Court
y'all.
deputy.
Oh,
Number
you may be seated.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I see you're prepared for the temperature. I don't think it's that bad today. But anyway, just a couple of things before we start. I think I told you when we began jury selection that we're keeping in touch with the epidemiologists and all of that. I've just asked all the participants, including me, to wear a mask if they're not speaking. Nothing's happened. Nobody's gotten infected or anything like that. But I just think it's better safe than sorry. So I'm going to keep in touch with the experts just to make sure we're keeping everything as safe and healthy as possible. So that's what we're doing. We're going to continue with the direct examination of the witness. Go ahead, Ms. Geddes.
Thank you.
First, I think our clerk needs to remind our witness.
You're reminded that you. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh no. You're reminded that you're still under oath.
Yes. Okay.
Are we supposed to be reading this part?
Joanda? Oh.
Geronda, you still going?
No, that's the court. That's the deputy or whoever sworn are in. It says called as a witness by the government have been previously duly sworn. I think it's you. Yeah.
Is it me?
You're letting them know that she's still under oath.
Okay.
Yes,
Geronda Johnson Pace, called as a witness by the government, having been previously duly sworn and affirmed by the courtroom deputy, was examined and testified further as follows.
Good morning. Yesterday, during your direct examination, you testified about the different devices that the defendant used to record you. Do you recall that?
Yes.
What, if anything, specifically do you recall the defendant recording using the video camera on top of a tripod? I think you testified earlier that it was a Canon camera. Is that correct?
Yes.
What do you recall the defendant recording you doing using that particular device?
He recorded us having sexual intercourse.
While you were engaged in sexual activity with the defendant, what, if anything, did the defendant request that you wear during those encounters?
During those encounters, he wanted me to put my hair up in pigtails and dress like a little Girl Scout.
Yesterday, you also referenced the cabin, one of the recording studios in the defendant's residence. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you describe how that cabin appeared?
It's a recording studio. It looks like a log cabin. So the inside of the room It was just logs for like the walls and everything.
You also testified about documents and a camera. Excuse me. You testified about documents and a cell phone and a T-shirt that you picked up from your lawyer, FISH. Do you recall that?
Yes.
How were the documents? How did you pick up the documents? When you picked up the shirt and the cell phone, how were the documents packaged?
They were in a box.
And everything was in a box? And he handed
Everything was in a box, and he handed me the box.
And were the papers physical papers that you picked up?
It was a flash drive.
Containing scans of those documents?
Yes.
Your Honour, may I publish Government Exhibit 210P, which is already in evidence?
Yes.
Directing your attention to Government Exhibit 210P, which is shown on the screen in front of you. What was the telephone number for the cellular telephone that you identified yesterday, which was in evidence as Government Exhibit 210?
This is the number. It was 630-886-2837.
And how is it that you would arrange times to go to the defendant's residence?
It would be through phone calls.
Including using this telephone?
Yes.
I'm showing Government Exhibit 210-E, which is also in evidence. What is shown in 210?
A picture of me.
And approximately when was that picture taken?
It was taken probably around the summertime, 2009.
And I'm showing now 210-M, exhibit published. What is shown in 210?
Another photo of me.
And what are you wearing?
I'm wearing some blue jeans and an Aeropostale t-shirt.
Is that the same brand of T-shirt as the one that you identified yesterday as using the last time you were at the defendant's residence?
Yes, it is the same brand.
Fair to say it's different T-shirt though.
Yes, it is.
I'm showing everyone Government Exhibit 210 AB. This is also in evidence. Exhibit published by, right. What is shown in 210 AB?
It's the photo of me.
And I want to direct your attention to the tattoo that is on your body shown in the photograph. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
What is that a tattoo of?
It's a tattoo of Rob's name.
And does that say Rob? R-0-B?
Yes, it does.
And what again happened to that tattoo?
I covered it up with the black heart.
So you filled it in?
Yes.
I'm showing what's in evidence is Government Exhibit 210 AA, exhibit published. What is shown in 210 AA?
A photo of Dominique.
And this was a photo that was on your cellular phone?
Yes, it is.
Who took this photograph?
Dominique took the photograph.
How did she obtain it?
She sent it to me.
I'm showing what's in evidence is Government Exhibit 210N, exhibit published. What is shown in Government Exhibit 210N?
Rob's contact information.
Was this a contact that was saved on your cellular telephone in evidence on Government Exhibit 210?
Yes, it is.
And when you say Rob, who are you referring to?
The defendant.
What was the telephone number listed for the defendant?
708-337-9300.
Right. I'm showing what is in evidence as Government Exhibit 210, Z as in zebra, exhibit published. What is shown in Government Exhibit 210, Z?
These are my contacts.
And there's one contact highlighted there. Do you recognise who that, what is that a contact for?
That's Rob's studio.
And what was the telephone number for Rob's studio?
708-747-6569.
And just to be clear, when you say Rob, are you referring to the defendant?
Yes, I am.
And was that the contact that was saved in your telephone, Government Exhibit 210?
Yes, it is.
Canic, wake up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your Honor, can I just have the exhibit number before we go?
You can give the exhibit number again.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, can you give the exhibit number again?
Oh, yes. 210 Z as in zebra.
All right.
I'm showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 210 Y. What is shown in 210 Y?
My contact. My mic died.
We lost our mic. Oh, right. What is shown in Government Exhibit 210 Y?
My contacts.
And what contact is highlighted there?
My mom's phone number.
And was that a contact saved in your telephone in Government Exhibit 210?
Yes, it was.
Does your mother still have that telephone number?
No, she does not.
What is the telephone number?
224-387-6519.
I am showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 210X. What's shown on 210X?
My contacts.
Whose telephone number is highlighted in red?
Keonia's.
Is Keonia the friend that you testified you first went to the defendant's house back in 2009 with?
Yes.
And was that a contact that was saved in Government Exhibit 210?
Yes.
What was Keonia's telephone number back then?
773-612-1900.
I am showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 210V as in Victor. What is shown in 210V?
My contacts.
Whose contact is highlighted?
Dominique's.
And how is Dominique referred to in your phone?
Domo.
D-O-M-O?
Yes.
Is that a nickname for her?
Yes, it is.
And again, was that a contact that was saved in your telephone that you had in 2009 and 2010?
Yes, it is.
What was Dominique's number back then?
708-623-4142.
And just to be clear, you referred to a photograph of Dominique just a few minutes ago. As well as his contact, is this the Dominique that was shown yesterday in Government Exhibit 69, who you identified as Dominique?
Yes.
I am showing the witness what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 210U. What is shown in 210U?
A phone call.
And was this a phone call that can you tell whether this is a phone call you sent or received? You made or received?
No, I cannot.
Okay. Who is the phone call with?
Rob?
The defendant?
Yes.
And what telephone number was used to contact to the defendant?
708-337-9300.
What was the date of that telephone call?
January 23rd,
Do you know what year that would have been?
2010.
What time?
1:36 p.m.
And how long did that telephone call last?
57 seconds.
I am showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 210T. What's shown in 210T?
Another phone log.
And who is this communication with?
Rob?
The defendant?
Yes.
What is the date of this communication?
January 23rd.
What time?
2:51 p.m.
And again, what year was that of January the 23rd?
2010.
How long did that telephone call last?
50 seconds.
I'm sorry, did you say that time that telephone call happened?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. I'm showing what's in evidence as 210S. What's shown in 210S?
Another phone log.
Who is that? Who is that communication with?
With Rob.
What was the date of it?
January 23rd.
Same date as the prior telephone calls with the defendant?
Yes.
What time?
4:47 p.m.
And how long did that telephone call last?
56 seconds.
I'm showing what's in evidence as 210R. What is shown in 210R?
Another phone log.
And who is that telephone call with?
Rob.
The defendant?
Yes.
What date?
January 23rd.
And of 2010?
Yes.
How long did it last?
27 seconds.
All right. And what time?
5:03 p.m.
And finally, I'm showing Government Exhibit 210-0. Oh, sorry. What is 210-0?
It's a text message.
And who is that text message with?
It's a text message from Rob.
And what was the telephone number of it?
708-337-9300.
And what does the text message say?
Please call.
And was this a text message that was sent to your phone? Government Exhibit 210?
Yes.
What was the date of this text message?
February 3rd, 2010.
And what time?
10:02 p.m.
How can you tell that's a message from Rob?
Because it says message from, and then it has his phone number, and it says Rob.
No further questions for this witness.
Okay, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, may I move the podium up over here so that I can access to the microphone?
You have it over there? Yes.
Okay, it's hidden.
And I'm going to keep nagging, and I'm going to keep nagging you to use the mic.
Now, you just testified about a number of telephone communications between you and Rob. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, now, those calls, according to you and the records, how many were they?
I don't recall.
Well, 5 sound correct?
5 sounds about right.
And those calls were made on the same day, January 23rd, 2010. Am I correct?
Yes.
And how long apart were those they made?
I don't recall.
Now, when you made those calls, or when the calls were made to you, do you recall whether or not you reached an individual or whether or not you got an answering service?
We talked on the phone.
Now, the calls. You had conversations, and the longest one was, hold on a second, let's see. So the longest conversation was 57 seconds, am I correct?
Yes.
And you had 5 conversations, wherein the longest one was 57 seconds.
Yes.
And then you had a text message.
Yes.
Now, that you told withdrawn, you told the jury yesterday that you had a relationship with Rob for about 6 months. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you said that relationship started in May 2009. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you said it terminated in January 2010. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, what date did it terminate in January 2010?
I don't recall the exact date.
But you recall you told the jury yesterday that on that particular day that Rob spat on you. Am I correct?
Yes.
And he slapped you in your face. Am I correct?
Yes.
And he made you wipe semen off of your face with a cloth. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
No, you didn't wipe semen off your face with a t-shirt.
He didn't make me wipe it off with a t-shirt. I did.
You did. But all of this happened the last time you saw him in a romantic relationship. Am I correct?
Yes.
And it's your testimony that you have no recollection as to the date was. Am I correct?
That's correct.
But you recall his phone number you recall his telephone number from 10 years ago. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Didn't recall your mom's. Am I correct?
I do recall my mom's.
No. Yesterday, when you were asked on the witness stand, you testified and told the jury that you did not recall your mother's testimony, your mother's telephone number. I'm sorry.
That's incorrect.
You didn't recall your own telephone number? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Mr. Cannett, I see you with, can I see you with the counselor at the side? I don't need the court reporter. So, Mr. Cannett, just do your best.
Yes, Your Honor.
To stay thither.
We do, Your Honour. We have it.
Oh, you do?
May I have the last question read back, question and answer?
Can you hear? I just want to make sure everyone can hear. I don't want to have to interrupt you again.
Okay, hopefully this works.
Give it a shot.
Now, you say So, according to you, there was a 50-second communication between you and Rob on January 23rd, 2010 at 2:51. Am I correct?
Yes.
And according to you, there was a communication between you and Rob January 2010 for 57 seconds
Yes.
at 1:36 p.m.
Yes.
And again, another telephone communication January 23rd at 4:47 p.m. for 56 seconds.
Yes.
And there is another one that does not withdraw. Now, you were in fact stalking him, weren't you?
No,
You weren't stalking him?
I was not.
Now, these calls were made after you initiated a lawsuit against Robert. Am I correct?
That is incorrect. That is correct. I'm sorry.
Now, when your first lawsuit settled against Rob, now when was your first lawsuit settled against Rob?
I believe it was February of 2010.
What day specifically in February 2010?
I do not recall.
Now, going back to this testimony, 210N, Government Exhibit 210N, could you?
It is connected to your laptop.
I speed up time. Could you just post it?
Here you go.
Can you see 210N?
No.
Are you connected to?
We are hoping that we are.
Can we use the government's? I'm sorry. The other thing we can do is take 10 minutes to fix it. I'd rather not.
I'd rather not as well. Now, can you see 210N?
Yes.
Now, you testified, you told us that was a contact of Rob was stored in your phone.
Yes.
Now, there's a photo there, correct?
Yes, it is.
Where did you get that photo?
That photo came off the internet.
So he didn't give you a photo, am I correct?
That's correct.
You went to the internet, search, and got a picture from your phone.
Yes, I did.
You can take it down, please. Now, before coming and giving testimony to the jury yesterday, how many meetings had you had with the government?
I don't recall.
Well, let's see if we can work it out. When was the last time you met with the government before coming in and giving the testimony to the jury yesterday?
Monday.
Okay, how long was that meeting?
I don't recall.
Well, was it 5 minutes?
It was longer than 5 minutes.
Was it longer than 30 minutes?
Yes, it was.
Was it longer than an hour?
Yes, it was.
Was it longer than 2 hours?
Yes, it was.
Was it longer than 3 hours?
Yes.
4 hours?
Yes.
5 hours?
Yes, it was.
6 hours?
I'm not sure if it reached the 6-hour mark.
Who was present at that meeting?
Several people that's sitting at the table.
Now, when you say several people sitting at the table, what table?
This table right here.
You're talking about the government's table.
Yes, I am.
Specifically, who were those people?
Ryan was present. Maria was present. Liz was present. And I don't remember your name. I'm sorry. She was present.
She was present as well. Her.
She
Here.
was present as well. Yes.
Miss
Miss
Shahada.
Shahata. Miss Shahata.
Yes.
And you know these two by first name, correct?
Hmm.
Yes.
Who else?
Keith was present as well.
Who's Keith?
A part of the government's team.
Who else?
I don't recall if there was more people.
Now at that meeting you went over, you rehearsed your testimony, am I correct?
That is incorrect.
You didn't go over questions that were asked by you, asked of you by Ms. Geddes.
I did go over questions, but I did not rehearse.
Oh, so the very questions that were asked of you by Ms. Geddes yesterday and this morning, you went over with her in her office at that meeting.
That is correct.
At that meeting, did you look at any documents?
Yes, I did.
What documents did you look at?
The evidence that I presented.
The evidence that you presented.
Yes.
Did you look at photographs?
Yes, I did.
Did you listen to audios?
No, I did not.
Videos?
No, I did not.
Now, so this all done on Monday for about 6+ hours, am I correct?
I'm not sure it made the 6-hour mark.
Okay. And when I say Monday, I'm talking about 3-4 days ago?
Well, today is Thursday.
Okay. Let's back it up. 4 days ago.
It was on Monday of this week.
Okay, before that, when was the last time you spoke with the government or met with the government?
I don't recall.
And you have no recollection as to how many times you met with the government.
I do not.
Now, you did meet with the government on prior occasions, am I correct?
That is correct.
Before Monday?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say you met with them more than once? Am I correct?
That is correct.
More than twice? Am I correct?
That would be correct.
More than 3 times? Am I correct?
I'm not sure how many times it was.
And when you met with them, you did the very same thing, and you went over your testimony. Am I correct?
I did not go over my testimony.
Well, didn't they ask you the questions that you were asked of you today and this morning?
No, not at every meeting.
Not at every meeting. Not at every meeting. But you didn't go there to have cocktails with them. Am I correct?
That is correct.
You didn't have lunch with them. Am I correct?
That's correct.
You went there to prepare to give your testimony. Am I correct?
That is correct.
And each time you went there, there were a number of government officials in the room taking notes. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Now, you also had interviews regarding your story as to you say happened here. Am I correct?
That is correct.
How many?
I'm unsure of how many interviews it was.
Was it more than one?
It was more than one.
Was it more than 2?
Yes, it was more than 2.
More than 3?
I'm not sure how many it was.
Can you approximate?
Objection.
Well, do you have an idea how many it was?
I do not.
But was it more than 2, right?
Yes, It was.
All right, go ahead.
And you've done YouTube postings.
One YouTube posting. Yes.
When did you do that?
That was in 2017.
And when did you have your first give your first television interview?
The same year, 2017.
And the second one?
That I'm unsure of.
And did you do any Instagram postings?
Yes, I did.
How many?
I'm not sure how many Instagram posts I did.
More than one, though.
Yes, it was more than one.
Now, when you gave the television interview, were you compensated?
No, I was not.
YouTube, any compensation there?
No,
Instagram, any compensation there?
no.
But you wrote a book. Am I correct?
Yes, I did.
And any compensations for the book?
Yes.
Oh, how much was the compensation for the book?
I don't recall the exact number.
Well, give me the not exact number.
It would be more than 25,000.
More than 25,000, huh?
No,
Less
no.
than 100.
No.
Less than 100,000.
You said the wrong thing. You said more than 25. It's more than 100,000.
I'm sorry. More than 100,000, huh?
Less than 100,000.
So it would be fair to say more than 25, but less than 100.
Yes.
And when was it that you received these monies?
It happened over a period of months.
And who was it that you got it from?
Amazon?
And did you have an agent?
No, it was a self-published book.
Self-published book. Good. Okay. And what you wrote in the book was accurate, am I correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't hear what you said.
Accurate.
Yes, it was.
No embellishment?
No.
Okay, now I want to go over your testimony from yesterday. You testified and told us that you first had sexual contact with Robert when you were 16 years old. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
And incidentally, before you came, when you came here yesterday and you gave testimony to the jury, you swore to tell the truth. Am I correct?
That is correct.
And you said that the initial encounter was in May of 2009. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you said you were 16 years old at that time. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you said that this relationship lasted for about 6 months. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And I think you testified and told us that it terminated in January 2010. Am I correct?
That is correct.
But you testified here this morning that you don't know specifically the date that it was terminated.
That's correct.
Now, you told us yesterday that you had an encounter with Robert in 2008. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
You told us that the encounter came about on April 1st, 2008. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, in fact, you told us it was April Fool's Day.
Yes.
Now, you testified and told the jury at that time of the encounter, you were 14 years old. Am I correct?
Yes.
So let's try to do some math here. You met him April 1st, 2008. Am I correct so far?
Yes.
And you were 14 years old.
Yes.
And then you had your sexual encounter with him May in 2010.
Yes.
2010 or 2009?
2009.
Okay.
Yes, it's 2010.
Okay. See, so in May 2009, you had your encounter with him. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you told the jury that you were 16 years old at that time. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, you would agree with me that from May 1st, 2008 to, I'm sorry. April 1st, 2008 to May 2009 in 1 year and 1 month. Am I correct?
That's correct.
But according to you, you were 14 years old May 1st,
April
2008.
April 1st.
April 1st, 2008, you were 16 in May 2009.
My birthday is April the 19th.
I didn't ask you when your birthday was. I said that you told us yesterday that on April 1st, 2008, when you met Rob, you were 14 years old.
Yes.
So on April 1st, 2008,
Yes.
sexual encounter with Rob a year and a month later, you're 16 years old?
Yes.
Okay. So you advanced 2 years in that year and a month. That's correct?
That's incorrect.
Okay, I know. Now, when you went to the court in 2008 to support Rob, you were 14 years old.
Yes, I was.
But you told the court officers that you were 19 years old.
That is true.
So you lied.
I told them I was 18.
I beg your pardon.
I told them I was 18.
Either way, you lied to them. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you lied to them for 3 months. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you presented identification to them verifying that age. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
You didn't give them any identification?
I gave them my high school ID. I did not present anything that represented 18.
So you're telling us now that you gave the court officers your high school identification?
Yes, I did.
To see child porn, allegedly. What high school were you attending?
Go ahead.
At the time, I was attending Schaumburg High School.
What grade were you in?
At the time, I was a freshman.
And you stayed out of school for 3 months to attend that proceeding? Am I correct?
Ooh.
That's incorrect.
Didn't you testify that it was April 1st?
Yes, I did.
Okay, now it lasted until June. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you went every day. Am I correct?
I did not go every day.
How many days per week did you go?
I went to some of the hearings. It took some time in between. That wasn't every day. So I'm not sure how many days I went.
Your Honor, we're going to try to pull up another photograph that an investigator brought us.
You don't have to explain where it came from, but does the government have it?
We do not.
No, it's something that
That's okay. Do you want to come over to the side with the court reporter and we can discuss it?
Yes. Your Honor, there's a photograph. There's 2 photographs, in fact, that we want to introduce into evidence.
Can I see them?
Actually, we're trying to get them. We have them on the phone. We have them on the computer, but investigators are trying to get a color photo of it.
What is it?
It's a picture of her and she's at the court proceeding, walking near the defendant, trying to grab him, reach out to him. And then the other one is just a picture with her with a newspaper with his picture against her chest.
Do you have any objection?
I have no objection. I'd just like to see them, but I have no objection.
We need to get them. So I'm going to ask for a break at this time.
You can't ask about some other stuff and come back to it.
I can.
I don't want her to have a baby on the stand. So really, I would rather like to move this along.
Okay.
All
right. All right.
Yes. Then I know you know this already. But you're really talking a lot about the trial in 2008. I don't think there's any reason. I'm just saying it's out there.
It's out there?
But I would just say part of what she was trying to explain, but couldn't because I've instructed her not to use the word trial, is that there were a hearing on April the 1st, 2008. Jury selection in the trial doesn't start until May. And so there's a period of weeks that she doesn't go.
You can bring that out on redirect.
Okay. May I, Your Honor?
Yes. Go.
Okay, thank you. Now at the court proceeding, you met someone and became friendly with him. Am I correct?
Yes.
That person's name was Kiana Jones?
Yes.
You are no longer friendly with her, am I correct?
That's correct.
And that friendship terminated when?
When?
And that friendship terminated when?
Geronda.
I don't recall.
And you testified there came a point in time that you spoke to someone connected with Robert about your being there and being supportive, and you were promised a t-shirt or an autograph. Do you remember telling us that?
An autograph.
An autograph. Both? And did that come to pass?
The autograph did.
Okay, and the autograph came to pass because basically you stood in front of his tour bus and would not move until you were given an autograph. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
What did you do with the autograph?
I kept the autograph.
Where?
I put it in my closet. It was in my closet for a while.
What was the autograph on?
It was on Kianya's bank statement.
Now, hold on. Okay. Now you testified and told us there came a point in time you were invited to a party at Robert's home. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you testified you and Kiana were invited and you went. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you testified and told us that you took the train there.
That's correct.
And the train was a 2-hour ride?
From my home to the suburbs. Yes.
And after you got off on, it was a 10-minute walk, and am I correct?
That's correct.
So in essence, to get from your home to this party took you 2 hours and 10 minutes by public transportation and walking the rest. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you testified that you got there and you saw security. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
What happened when you got there?
Bubba came to the gate and let us in.
Now, when Bubba came to the gate, you didn't encounter security at the gate at all?
No.
Did anyone ask you for your identification at that time?
No.
Did anyone ask you to sign a non-disclosure agreement at that time?
No.
So you got there and you just got with Bubba and just basically Bubba took you back up to the party?
That's correct.
Now, you never told there was never a situation where you were asked for identification and you told them that you have to come right back because you left your identification at your uncle's house.
No.
Never told them that, right?
No.
You are as truthful about as you are everything else you're testifying about and told this jury today.
Yes.
Now, you got to the party. Withdrawn. How much money did you pay to get the train out there?
It took about $15.
And was that for a round trip or was that for a single fare?
It was a round trip both ways.
And you testified and told us that you stayed at that party for about 30 minutes?
Less than 30 minutes.
Less than 30 minutes? So you took a 2-hour ride there, a 10-minute walk, went there to the party. Stayed for less than 10 minutes. I mean, 30 minutes. And then you went back on your way?
Yes.
So in essence, you traveled 4 hours and 20 minutes for less than 30 minutes of partying?
Yes.
And you left because the music was too loud?
Yes.
Now, you knew when you left home, you were going to R. Kelly's party. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
You didn't know you were going to R. Kelly's party?
I did not.
But you knew you were going to a party.
No, I did not.
And you were truthful about that as everything else you just told us about.
Yes.
Now, during this less than 30 minutes that you were at the party, did you see any other celebrities?
No.
Oh my God.
About how many folks were at the party?
There were about 30 to 35 people.
Do you remember what time you got to the party?
I do not.
Do you remember what time you left the party?
I do not.
Do you remember what time you left your home?
I do not.
Do you remember if you saw Robert at the party?
I do.
Now, when you saw Robert, did you subsequently have a conversation with him?
I did have a conversation with him.
Did you initiate that conversation or did Robert?
He did.
I want you to go back to when you met Robert. You told him that you were 19 years old.
That's correct.
How did that come about?
He asked me my age.
And you told him 19.
Yes.
You lied.
I did.
Just like you lied to the court officers.
That is incorrect.
When you were going to Robert's court appearance back in 2000, it's supposed to be in 2008, did you tell your mom you were going to court?
No, I did not.
Where did you tell your mom you were going?
I was supposed to be going to school.
So you lied to her too.
She didn't ask.
And you didn't tell her?
No.
I did not.
So we have a lie to your mom, a lie to the corrections officer, and a lie to Robert.
Objection.
Sustained as the form.
Now when you went to Robert's party, you didn't expect loud music?
I did not.
Before going to Robert's party.
Before going to Robert's party, have you ever been to a party?
I have.
Is that supposed to be me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Loud music at those parties?
No.
Objection.
Overruled.
There was no loud music at those parties.
No.
Were these parties hosted by African Americans? Black folks?
Which parties are you talking about?
Let me just back up.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. How many parties did you attend before going to Robert's?
I don't recall.
But you do recall going to parties.
Yes.
And were any of them hosted by African Americans?
Objection.
Sustained. Come on, Mr. Canick. Move on.
You didn't hear loud music at any of those parties that you went to before?
Objection.
Overruled. Did anybody play loud music at a party that you went to?
No.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Now.
She's lying.
I know that we got the jury over here laughing. We got the jury over here laughing at you right about now. Now you went to the party and you left after about 30 minutes and you went home.
Yes.
Do you recall what time you got home?
I do not.
And you were 16 years old when you went to this party.
Yes, I was.
Now, you testified and told us earlier that you had an uncle who lived in Olympia Fields area.
Yes.
What was the address?
I don't recall the address.
What was his name?
His name is Perry.
Perry, what's his last name?
His last name is Marion.
Perry Marion?
Yes, that's correct.
And before the night of the party, how many times have you been to his home?
I hadn't.
Oh my gosh. You hadn't?
No.
You had not?
No.
Have you ever been to his home?
I have.
When?
The first time was in May of 2009.
May of 2009. The same month that you went to the party.
Yes.
Make sure y'all remember that part, okay? Was it before or after you attended the party?
Can you rephrase your question?
Before you rephrase your question, can you adjust your mic? It's getting buried.
Okay, I'm sorry. You testified and told us you visited your uncle in May of 2009. Do you remember telling us that?
That's incorrect.
May I have that last question before that one read back? The requested portion of the record was read back by the official's court reporter. When was it that you visited your uncle?
I was visiting my uncle throughout the years.
Short while ago? I asked you before, short while ago. I asked you is that you visit your uncle? Do you remember me asking you that?
I recall you. I thought you were talking about Rob when you asked me when was the first time I
I
went to his
said your
home
uncle.
because you were speaking at a party.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wow.
I think the question was, somebody turn that thing down, please.
Is that you visit your uncle?
Okay, somebody, okay, who is that? Hold on.
I recall you. I thought you were talking about Rob.
Okay, Nicole Blank Becker, you're gonna have to turn your thing in the back. That was you playing your stuff. All right, let's go back. Is everybody okay in the chat? Everyone okay? Are you guys listening? Okay,
How
everybody.
am I doing? How am I doing so
You're
far?
doing well. You're doing well.
Really well, Daddy Lolo. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Brilliant.
God.
All of you.
Catch me in all my lies.
Yeah, you lie. Let me tell you
I
something.
lied.
You lie a lot.
But it didn't take no time for her to lie. Like the question was right directly before he asked her the other question, and she just lied.
Flat out lied.
One answer to the next.
You
It
lie.
didn't take that much time.
Now, y'all, this is now. Come, imagine you heard what the she
Now
got.
this is what y'all not getting from the news media.
Exactly. Somebody said she got confused because Kanik didn't state a specific name when he asked a question. He said your uncle. He said your uncle.
Yeah, Uncle.
And we're talking about Perry Marion. That was the uncle that she said she visited.
She said we're one-sided, but we're reading exactly what's on this transcript. It's not one-sided. We're reading the transcript.
Exactly.
He said
We're
uncle.
reading what's there, yeah.
He said the uncle. He didn't say Rob. No, how could she get confused? Rob is not her uncle.
That's right.
He said uncle. Or should we read it back again?
Yeah, we can read that back.
We go back.
We're reading
going
both.
back.
We're reading both. She said both prosecutor and defensive transcript. We're reading the whole transcript. We're not just reading one side. Taylor, I think you're not listening, Taylor. We're reading both sides.
The prosecutor was last night when we read. This is the cross-examination. Yeah, and earlier today. This is the cross-examination.
Yeah, you just finished Geddes. You just finished reading a few minutes ago, so I don't understand what she's talking about. Anyway, let's continue. I think the question was, do you remember? Can you rephrase it? I thought the question was, do you remember the first? You said you had an uncle that lived nearby, right? This is the judge asking her that because she just lied.
Yes.
So she said yes. Did you first go to his house? That's the question. And she says,
oh, I went to my uncle's house probably back about in 2006.
Go ahead, Kanik.
Hold on. She just said she went there for the first time in May 2009.
Nah, she's so good.
Nicole told you at the beginning.
She's such a liar. That's what it is. They're a bunch of liars. Go ahead.
Where am I at?
Line 14.
Okay. And since the first visit in 2006, how many other times have you visited with him?
We used to go there yearly for celebrations. So since 2006, it was like every year for celebrations.
But you don't know his address.
No, I do not.
You testified and told us yesterday by subsequent visits you had at Rob's home. Do you remember telling about that subsequent to that party?
Yes.
And you testified and told us that someone by the name of Anthony picked you up from the metro station.
That's correct.
And that you, well, she said she walked. Okay. But and that you know that this person that you identified as Anthony, did he introduce himself to you?
Yes, he did.
So he spoke with you.
Yes.
Wasn't wearing a name tag or anything like that.
No.
And you testified that he took you to Rob's home. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you testified that when you arrived at Rob's home, basically you called him to let him know that you were there and that he told you to go to the pool to change.
That's correct.
And you did that. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And at some point you contacted them and let them know, in fact, you had changed.
That's correct.
And according to you, you came to the pool area and he sat down on the log and told you to walk back and forth.
Yes.
Okay. And when did you take that to mean?
To just walk back and forth.
Okay, you walked, walking, and you did walk back and forth. Am I correct?
Yes.
Where did you walk?
Along the pool.
And when were when you were walking, did you walk model like?
No. I was just regular walking.
Regular walking, huh? And how many times you walk back and forth?
I'm not sure.
Were you moving your bathing suit each time you walk back and forth?
That's correct.
Did you do that on your own?
At the instruction of Rob.
Tell me what that instruction was.
He told me to walk back and forth and remove my bathing suit as I did it.
And you did it? Well, did you say to him when he asked you to do this, no?
No.
Did you say, I'm going home?
No.
So you just took off your clothes.
Objection.
Overruled.
Yes.
Then according to you, that after that happened, he gave you oral sex.
Yes.
Then you said that after that happened, that you felt uncomfortable. And you told him that you were 16.
Yes.
Now, what about that made you feel uncomfortable to tell him you were 16?
I was uncomfortable with the situation. I knew I had lied about my age, and I wanted to tell him my age.
But you were not uncomfortable with the situation that you decided, hell, no, I'm not taking off my clothes. I'm going home.
That's correct.
And this didn't come about because some law enforcement was at the home looking for a 17-year-old Dominique.
That's correct.
That's not the reason why you told him that, correct?
That's correct, what you're saying.
Now, you testified and you told us yesterday that at this point in time, when you were telling Robert your real age, that you showed him your state ID. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, do you recall being arrested and charged for having a bogus ID?
No.
Do you recall being arrested and convicted at all?
No.
Never happened, right?
I don't recall.
We know that to be a lie.
Mhm.
Do you remember where Bloomfield, Illinois is located?
No, you missed one. You go back up to 8.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you recall being arrested in Bloomfield, Illinois?
No.
Do you know of any, do you remember where Bloomfield, Illinois is located?
I do not.
Do you know of any city by the name of Bloomfield?
I've heard of Bloomfield.
But you've never been to Bloomfield.
I've never been to Bloomfield.
Mr. Canick, can I see you and the government for a second? No court reporter is necessary. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to take our morning break now. It'll probably be about 15 minutes. Please don't talk about the case or anything having to do with the case. I'll see New about 5 minutes. New is supposed to be you. About 5 minutes.
Okay,
Deputy.
great, because I need a cigarette.
Court deputy, where you at?
Sleep.
Woman,
All right.
Oh,
All right, okay.
I need me a cigarette.
All
Go
right,
outside
me
and
too,
smoke
Daddy.
me.
Oh.
All right, the witness can step down and everybody can take a seat, can sit. I think what we're going to try to accomplish is to fix whatever's going on over here with your connection. And then I just want to make sure that Mr. Canick's mic is properly attached. What else do you want to say? I'm sorry.
That's all right, Your Honour. I wanted to raise with the court that with the defence counsel's line of questioning regarding the witnesses, why she was uncomfortable once she engaged in sexual activity with the defendant and why she felt the need to explain that she was 16. One of the reasons I anticipate she would identify that she felt uncomfortable is because the year before the defendant was on trial for making a recording of an underage female, and that...
I think the council's aware of that line of questioning. We'll open the door. We'll open the door. Now, we have had a slight conversation about it at the side, but if that's part of the explanation, it seems like something that's appropriate on redirect.
Thank you.
But anyway, let's get back here in about 15 minutes, all right?
Your Honour, say we raise one thing briefly before. May we, raise one thing briefly before?
Let's have the defendant come out first.
Yes. Sorry about that.
I'm assuming, okay, we're on a break still. Sorry, we're on a break. Sorry, y'all. We don't need to go. Hold on.
We're on a break now.
He went to go get a cigarette, y'all. He went to go get a cigarette. Just hold on, guys.
Right. Oh, gosh.
Roland said, you better speak with that accent. I have a spot of tea.
These witnesses is a whole mess.
They sure are.
Mm-hmm.
They are a mess.
Okay, guys, hit the like button.
Okay, Your Honor.
Hit the like button.
I'm back
You ready?
now.
You ready? You back?
Kennick, you
All right,
doing
guys.
your thing, my guy. You are doing your thing.
Who?
Kennick.
Kennick is doing his thing, isn't he? He going
Yes, he
in on her.
is. He's going
He sure
all the way
is.
in on her. All right,
Candy, everybody's giving you a compliment on your accent.
Sorry, I've just come back. Sorry.
No, they saying they love your accent.
I do. I love it too. I do.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I love it too.
Candy, you love it. See, Candy, I brought you out.
You did. My first ever time. My first ever on any live. Gosh, for 2.5 years, I've never been on a live. So that's good.
Oh, I feel honored. Thank you, Candy.
Don't be silly. I'm honored to be here. You do all the work, you guys. Really.
All right, guys, y'all ready?
Yeah, we ready.
All right. So, Miss Getty, go ahead.
Right. Yes. Am I on number 7, number 6, or
No. 200 to page 264, number 2.
number 2? Fine. Okay. Your Honour, may we raise one thing briefly before?
Let's have the defendant come out first.
Yes. Sorry about that.
I'm assuming we're straightening out the issues with the exhibits and the display. Canic, wake up.
Oh,
Line 9.
the hard
9.
copy we were supposed to get is 15 minutes away.
What do you want to raise, Miss Geddes?
On cross, defence counsel referenced a prior arrest and conviction for using a false ID or something along those lines. The witness does not have a conviction for using a false ID, and therefore I don't think it's a proper basis for cross-examination.
Was she arrested for it?
She was arrested. She
Uh-oh.
was also not arrested in Bloomfield. She was arrested for shoplifting in Bloomingdale.
In Bloomingdale, you didn't know what was. Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't know what that was?
Bloomingdale, Illinois.
So, first of all, an arrest is really not probative of anything. So, I do agree that it's not a proper question. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I just turned it off too.
Just to drive me out of my mind.
I asked the question. It was a good faith-based question based on the information I had. Waiting for it, she denied it. So I moved on.
As long as we're not going back there, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I think generally, we're all the same page about arrest then, so it won't happen again, I'm sure. All right. Anything else before we get the witness? Okay. Let's get the witness.
Your Honour, one other note. When I redirect this witness, I've instructed her not to talk about the trial. Can I have a minute with her or just lead her through it?
When cross is done, how much longer do you have?
Maybe about an hour and a half.
You can't see my aged face under my mask. Okay.
It may go faster.
We won't talk about how loud the music was, whatever. I'm sure it will be fine. If that's the case, I'll take us to about the lunch break anyway. So we'll handle it that way. Of course. No requirement that you go for an hour and a half.
I certainly understand, Your Honor.
All right. And I'm correct that we've remedied whatever the problem was with the display of your evidence?
I think we have.
Is that right, Donna? Donna, wake up.
Courtroom deputy.
Yes, it is.
I just want to make sure we're connected. The witness is here, so let's get the jury. Donna, deputy, wake up.
I'm trying to find myself. Where am I?
Right
Line
after
17.
17.
Okay, wait a minute. Oh, all rise.
We're waiting on you.
You may be seated.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We're ready to continue with the cross-examination by Mr. Canick.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ma'am, court deputy.
Short part. Hold on.
Number 24.
Okay, I got such a short part.
I'm gonna have to fire my court deputy.
The witness is reminded that she is still under oath.
Yes.
So earlier this morning, you told us there came a point in time that you told Robert your true age, according to you, as being 16.
Yes.
And you told us, well, I asked based on your testimony this morning. You told us that this happened after you had a sexual encounter with Robert.
Yes.
And when you said sexual encounter with Robert, what would you describe as that sexual encounter?
It was oral sex that he performed on me.
Now, you testified and told us earlier this morning that you had a number of interviews with the government prior to coming in and giving testimony here. Am I correct?
Yes.
Do you recall giving an interview to the government on February 27, 2019?
I don't recall the exact dates.
Your Honor, may I approach this witness and see if it refreshes her recollection?
Sure.
You can hold it and see if you need to look at it.
Yes.
You had an opportunity to look at the document.
Yes.
Does it refresh your recollection that you had an interview with the government on February 27, 2019?
Yes.
Now, in that meeting that you had on February 27, 2019, would it be fair to say it was similar to all of the other meetings that you had with the government, wherein there were a number of prosecutors and agents in the room,
Yes.
and there were folks taking notes?
Yes.
And you saw then when they were taking notes, am I correct?
Yes.
Now, do you recall telling during this meeting that you and Robert moved from the pool area to the game room, which is located inside the home, and this was the area that the party was previously held, and that Robert brought in your personal bag with your belongings into the game room, and you were still naked when you guys entered the game room, and you and Robert sat down on the couch?
Objection.
It is the form of question.
Yes.
It sounds rather compound. Maybe you could break it down.
There's another objection as well.
Well, let's start by breaking it down and see that fix the problem.
Haters. At that meeting, do you recall telling the government that you and Robert is the down on the couch?
Yes.
And this was in the game room, am I correct?
Yes.
And it was according to you that you told Robert that you were 16 years old.
Yes.
And according to you, you removed your identification from the bag and showed it to Robert. Am I correct?
Yes.
And according to you, Robert told you to tell everyone that you're 19, but act like you're 21.
That's correct.
Now, do you recall telling your civil lawyer a different story?
No.
Do you recall telling your civil lawyers that Robert told you to tell people that you were 19, but to act like you're 25?
No.
You did tell us yesterday that your lawyer that you were working with was Patrick Conram of Susan Logan's and Associates. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you did have a meeting with him on February 1st, 2010. Am I correct?
I don't recall the exact dates.
May I approach again?
Yes.
Can you let me know what exhibit you're talking about?
3500 JP16. Just look at the document and see if it refreshes your recollection.
Yes.
When you say yes, does it refresh your recollection that you had a meeting with your lawyers, your civil lawyers, on the Loggins law firm February 1st, 2010.
Yes.
Now you're testifying and telling us that at that meeting you did not tell them that Rob told you to act. To tell folks you're 19 and act like you're 25.
I did not say that.
Now, when you had those meetings with them, were they taking notes?
No.
Tell us how those meetings will go.
Lies.
The meetings with my previous attorneys,
Meetings with Patrick Conron of the Susan Loggins and Associates law firm.
I only had a few meetings with them, but I just went there and I told them that I wanted to press criminal charges against him originally. And they did not recommend that I press criminal charges against him.
Okay. Now, my question to you is, tell us how the meetings went. Did you sit down in the office with them?
Yes, I did sit down in an office.
And they took information from you?
Yes, they collected evidence from me.
Did they ask you for recitation of what your claim was?
Can you rephrase that question?
Did they ask you to explain why you're there?
Yes.
And you told them, correct?
Yes, I did.
And you're telling this jury that didn't take any notes.
They did not take notes.
Wow.
Did you speak to anyone else? Did they have you speak to anyone else in connection with your claim?
I was able to speak with Susan over the phone.
Can I have one moment with counsel?
Yes. You don't need me, do you?
No.
Okay. The witness was interviewed by a polygrapher. What I'm asking her is, did the law firm have her speak to someone else? Because I'm trying to make sure that I don't open the door about bringing out the polygraph.
I assume she passed it.
She passed portions of it.
She passed this one.
She said he told her, tell people that she was 19 but act 25, but a prior inconsistent statement. And I think the way I'm asking, it does not open the door by saying to her, they had you speak to someone else, and in fact, you told them this.
You already have done that. I don't know what extent have they permitted her to review whatever their report was.
She hasn't.
I'm just saying, I think you're bound by her answer unless you get the person in to say that she said it.
I'm sure the government will stipulate to that.
I don't know about that.
You're not going to stipulate? Then we'll drag them then.
The only stipulation would be that whoever is whoever was prepared the notes at some time afterwards and didn't show them to her. I'm assuming that's what it is. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your business. It doesn't ask doesn't you ask her the question if she says
I can get the stipulation because she's
go with good God, go with God.
Oh, wow.
Just to be clear, I think you already asked about this. I think we're done. We're moving on from this. I agree. I'm not going to bring in the polygraph based on what you said.
earlier this morning before we took our break. I asked you when you got this autograph from Robert, didn't you in fact stand in front of the tour bus and did not move until you were granted an autograph? You remember me asking you that?
Yes,
I think your answer was no. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Do you also recall a meeting with the government where you told the government that you and Kiana stood in front of Kelly's bus until they agreed to give you an autograph?
I don't recall.
May I approach?
Sure. Sure.
I'm directing your attention to the second highlighted portion in yellow. Isn't it a fact that you and Kiana stood in front of Kelly's bus until they granted you an autograph?
We did not stand in front of his tour bus.
If the government has that written in their notes in some place, that's an error?
If it says tour bus, that's an error.
Well, did you stand in front of any type of vehicle to get an autograph?
In front of a car? Yes.
In front of a car?
Yes.
What kind of car?
I don't recall the exact car, but he was in the back of a car.
You saw the car with him in the back of the car, am I correct?
Yes.
Had you seen him in that car before?
Yes.
Where did you see him in that car before?
Coming to court?
He didn't come to court in the tour bus?
Yes. He came to court in a tour bus, and he would get in the car or an SUV and be dropped off at the courthouse.
You stood in front of that car, am I correct?
Yes.
You refused to move, am I correct?
We did not refuse to move. We waved the car down.
If the government wrote in their reports that you and Kiana stood in front of this vehicle until he agreed to give you an autograph, that would be wrong by the government to put that in the report, correct?
It would not be wrong.
Because that was... It wouldn't be wrong because that's what in fact happened. Am I correct?
That is incorrect.
Now, the day that, Lord, give me strength. The first day that you went to Robert's home, did you have intercourse with him?
No.
What happened that day sexually between the two of you?
Nothing.
The first day, that's because the party, correct?
The first day is the party.
The second time, did you have intercourse with him?
Yes, I did.
After you had intercourse with him, according to you, he prepared you a drink.
Yes.
And you described that drink yesterday as being delicious. Am I correct?
Yes.
After a while, you felt a little funny after having that drink. Am I correct?
Yes.
You told Robert that?
Yes, I did.
And then he, according to you, escorted you to the room with a mirror. Am I correct?
Yes.
You laid down, according to you, in that room until you felt better. Am I correct?
No.
Did you eventually leave the room?
Yes.
When you left the room, where did you go to?
Down to the studio.
Now, this was only the second time you were at his home. Am I correct?
Yes.
And the first time you were at his home, you were there for only about less than 30 minutes. Am I correct?
Yes.
You went to a party, and the party was where?
It was at his home in the game room.
And no one during that time gave you a tour of his home. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And when you went there the second time, you were escorted, according to you, by Anthony to the pool area. Am I correct?
Correct.
Prior to going to the pool area, Anthony did not give you a tour to the house. Am I correct?
That's correct.
This room, that the mirror room, according to you, is on the first floor.
Incorrect.
Where's the mirror room?
First level of the home.
Oh, oh my God. Lord, give me strength. No, this girl here. First level of the home.
Yes.
How many levels?
Basement, first level, then upstairs.
So when you said first level of the home, is that the first floor?
No.
What is the first floor?
The first floor would be the basement.
Okay. So before this day, you never had any type of tour or orientation of Robert's home. Am I correct?
That's correct.
After you were lying in the mirror room for a period of time, you got up and went where?
I was taken down to the studio.
You were taken down to the studio?
I was escorted down to the studio.
Who escorted you?
Robert?
Robert escorted you?
Yes.
Wasn't Robert preparing for a party downstairs?
No.
Weren't you in that room by yourself, sleeping, trying to feel better?
No.
So Robert was in the room with you as you slept in the mirror room?
He wasn't in the room the entire time.
Do you recall testifying and telling the jury yesterday under oath? Question, did you drink the drink? Answer. Oh, is she supposed to answer or am I? Okay.
No, you're just going over what she said.
Okay. Question, did you drink the drink? Answer, I did drink it. Question, how did it make you feel? Answer, it was delicious. I just started feeling a bit ill and I told the defendant I wasn't feeling well. Question, what happened once you told the defendant you weren't feeling well? Answer, he opened the door to the mirror room and told me I can lay down in the mirror room. Question, can you describe the mirror room? Answer, a room where the entire room is just mirror. There is a huge mirror above the bed. Question, what happened once you were inside the mirror room? Answer, I just laid down. Question, and where, if anywhere, did the defendant go once you were in the mirror room? Answer, he told me, well, I was preparing for a party that was going to have later. So he ended up leaving the room. Question, where did you go? Answer, about, I want to say 10 minutes later, I went downstairs. When you testified under oath to this jury yesterday, you didn't tell them that Robert took you downstairs. Am I correct?
That is correct.
You told them that you laid there for about 10 minutes and then you went downstairs. Am I correct?
That's correct.
So when you testified just a short while ago that Robert took you downstairs, you lied, didn't you?
Objection.
Sustained as to the form.
Were you telling the truth when you told the jury just a short while ago that it was Robert who took you downstairs?
Yes.
Do you know what the truth is?
Whoa. Mr. Canick, sustained.
Let's go back to this mirror room.
Oh my God.
There is a bathroom inside that room. Am I correct?
Yes.
And the mirror room was a lock on the outside of the door. Am I correct?
I don't recall.
Oh, Jesus.
It's your testimony that you could just walk up to the door in the mirror room after that 10 minutes elapsed and just open the door and walk downstairs?
You can repeat.
Rephrase. I don't understand it either. Rephrase.
It's your testimony withdrawn. So correct me if I'm wrong. You just got up after about 10 minutes, opened the door of the mirror room, and you walked downstairs.
That's incorrect.
Tell me what happened.
Robert came to the mirror room and he escorted me down the stairs.
Did there come a point in time that you left Robert's home to go back to your home that day?
The next day I did.
What time was it that you left the next day?
I'm unsure of that time. But I do remember saying I wanted to go home at 6 a.m. But I'm not sure what time I actually left his home.
What time did you arrive at his home?
I don't recall the time I arrived.
So you were, according to you, 16, and you stayed overnight at his home.
Yes.
You testified and told us that at one point you eventually left. Did you alert him that you wanted to leave?
Yes.
And how did you do that?
Through text message and a phone call.
What happened?
I was able to leave.
You were able to leave?
Yes.
No one held you there, right?
I had to wait to be escorted, but I was able to leave.
Well, were you given money to take the train?
Yes. I was given money to take the train back home.
How much money were you given?
It was $50 in an envelope.
And you decided to take the train as opposed to taking a cab?
Yes.
Who was it that came down to give you that envelope?
One of the runners came down to give me the envelope.
Do you know the runner's name?
Tom.
Did Tom tell you?
That he was going to take me to the train station, and he handed me the envelope and said that it was from Rob.
Now, you testified and told us about Dominique being your friend from a fan club of Rob's.
Yes.
This fan club, how long before this date had you been a member?
Since about 2007.
Would you describe yourself as a super fan?
At the time, yes.
And what made you a super fan?
Well, what makes a super fan is somebody that is just like a really big fan of a person's music or whatever they do, and you're just very supportive of it.
And that's when you went to the court proceeding in 2008.
Yes.
Would you categorize yourself as being a groupie?
No, I would not.
Had you ever considered yourself as being a groupie of Roberts?
Objection.
Of Roberts?
I'm not sure the distinction. Do you consider yourself a groupie?
No.
Go ahead. Judge is like, the judge is funny.
That's so funny. Go on.
Okay. You testified and told us that you eventually introduced Dominique to Robert.
Yes.
You have a tattoo of Dominique on your body, am I correct?
Yes.
Where is that tattoo?
It's on my leg.
What is that tattoo?
It's a tattoo of a heart that says her full name, and I have a cupcake tattoo, and also a tattoo with me and Dominique's anniversary date.
When you say you and Dominique's anniversary date...
Objection.
Overrule.
Me and Dominique used to date.
When was that?
It started March 17th of 2010.
You testified and told us yesterday that there came a point in time that Robert took your, I think you said your Pink Palm Central phone. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes,
And you told us that the reason why he did it is that he didn't want you to be in contact with anyone. Remember telling us that?
yes,
But you also told us that he, according to you, took the phone and gave you the memory card. Am I correct?
that's correct.
And I think you testified and told us that he eventually replaced the phone by giving you money to buy another one.
That's correct.
How much money did he give you there?
$250.
You bought another phone, a prepaid phone?
Yes.
How much was the prepaid phone?
I don't recall the price of it.
Not $250 though, right?
That's right.
And that other phone, you use it to contact the very same people, am I correct, that you were contacting before?
Not all of them.
But you contacted Dominique,
Yes.
Kiana,
Yes.
your friend Danica,
Yes.
and other family members.
Yes.
Those are some of the same people that you said Rob said he didn't want you to contact. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, the government has agreed to.
Are you offering something into evidence?
Yes. Yes.
No objection.
How are they going to be identified?
Defense 1, 2, 3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Why don't you mark them afterwards? Do you have an exhibit sticker, Mr. Caddick?
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask that Robert 1 for identification to be published.
Defendants 1.
Yes.
Defendants Exhibit 1. Okay.
Okay. You're looking at Defendants Exhibit 1 for identification. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
That's a color photograph, a color version of the photograph that was offered by the government earlier in this trial. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, that is you on the bed. Am I correct?
Yes.
And where is this? Where are you?
In the mirror room.
In the mirror room. Okay. And you testified and told us earlier, withdrawn. Do you remember the date this was taken?
I do not.
Do you remember what you were doing there that day?
Yes. I was visiting Rob.
You were visiting Rob. Now, I want to describe the outfit that you're wearing.
I'm wearing some tan capris and a red shirt.
You're not wearing baggy sweats, am I correct?
That's correct.
The shirt describes the shirt.
It's a red fitted shirt.
Red fitted shirt. That's fitted, not baggy.
That's correct.
What do you have on your feet?
I have heels on.
You have heels on?
Yes.
You're lying on the bed with heels on? Am I correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to.
Are these additional photograph?
Yes.
You already marked defendants Exhibit 1, 2, 3. Wait. You should be ABC.
Yes.
Those first things will be ABC. You're not on D and E. All right?
Your Honor, I'm going to ask the witness be shown what is marked for identification as defendants exhibit D and E. May I approach
Yes.
the
So
court?
are not in evidence?
Not yet. Okay, now take a look at these. Do you recognize what is marked as defendants exhibit D for identification?
Yes.
Do you recognize it to be?
That's a photo of me, Rob, June, and another R. Kelly fan.
Do you have a sense of when this photograph is taken?
I believe that was taken in April of 2008.
And does this seem to be a fair and accurate depiction of what you recall the situation would be back at that time?
Yes.
I know what photo they're talking about.
Yeah, the one that's all over the newspaper.
Yeah, when her and somebody else was trying to chase him down, and he was looking back at his security like, what is wrong with these people? Your Honor, I offer this into evidence as defendant exhibit D.
No objection.
Okay.
I'm going to show you what is previously marked defendants exhibit E for identification. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What do you recognize it to be?
That is me.
Your Honor, I'm going to offer this as defendants exhibit E.
No objection.
Okay, that is in evidence.
I ask that defendants D be published.
Okay.
You're looking at defendants exhibit D. Do you recognize yourself in the photograph?
I do.
Where do you recognize? What are you wearing?
I'm wearing a black coat with white pants and brown heels.
Oh shoot, I forget I left my spot. I just looked away.
19.
What line?
Line 19.
19.
19? Okay. I'm going to ask that defendant.
Publish E.
You said 19?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask that defendant exhibit E be published.
Okay.
Do you recognize yourself in that one?
Yes.
What do you recognize yourself withdrawn? In this photograph, what you're holding a news article or something with Robert's picture of it.
Yes, that's correct.
What is it?
This was me outside of the trial holding a newspaper article with him.
You're 14 at this time, am I correct?
I'm not sure if this was taken when I was 14 or a few weeks later when I turned 15.
Do you recall whether or not this was a school day?
Yes, it was a school day.
Incidentally, you're wearing a wig here. Am I correct?
Yes, I am.
And you're wearing a wig
Exactly.
because you wanted to project yourself as being older. Am I correct?
Exactly.
No, that's not correct.
It's just a style thing, huh?
Yes,
For a
You
14-year-old.
testified and told us yesterday that there came a point in time that you and Dominique went to Rob's home in Olympia Fields. Am I correct?
that's correct.
And you testified and told us you got through the gate. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you testified and told us that you were stopped by Bubba. Am I correct?
That's correct.
What were you doing at his home?
We just ran through the gate. We had no plan.
You had no plan?
No,
You live 2 hours away. Am I correct?
that's correct.
So you had no plan, but you drove withdrawn. How did you get there?
Dominique drove her mom's car.
So how far did Dominique live from there?
She lives about 15 minutes away from here.
How did you get to Dominique?
I took the metro train to go out to her house.
With no plans. You left your home, went met up with Dominique and you decided to go to Rob's home.
I planned to meet up with Dominique, and we had plans as far as going to his home. It just happened.
You testified and showed us. You testified about a huge gate yesterday to this property. Am I correct?
That's correct.
You climbed across the gate.
No, we did not climb the gate.
How did you get through the gate?
We waited for a car to go through, and when the car went in, we ran in behind it.
Rob was on tour. Am I correct?
I'm not sure.
How long had you waited for a car to come and go through the gate?
We drove up. It was probably about 2 minutes, and then we saw a car going in, and we ran in.
So they got out the car then to run in.
So you were waiting outside of Dominique's car.
We were getting out of her car.
Can you describe the car that went in the gate?
It was a black car. I'm not sure of the make or model.
It was Bubba who caught you, right?
That's correct.
What did you tell Bubba your reason for being there?
I just told him that I was getting my heels. I wanted to get my heels, that I left.
That was not your purpose though, right?
It originally wasn't my purpose.
When did it become your purpose?
When we got caught.
So it wasn't your purpose. After you told Bubba that, what, if anything, did Bubba do according to you?
Can you repeat the question?
After you told Bubba that you were there to get your heels, what, if anything, did Bubba do according to you?
He went back and he went to the house and he got my heels for me.
May I have a second, please, Your Honor?
Sure.
Isn't it a fact, ma'am, that the day you went to Robert's home, he was not home?
Objection.
Overrule.
That's incorrect. I'm sorry. Which date are you speaking of?
The date you and Dominique went to his home, isn't it a fact that he was not home that day?
That's correct.
Isn't it a fact that you did, in fact, get into his home that day?
I got into his gate. I did not get into his home.
Isn't it a fact that you got into his home and you went inside of his home and took pictures of his home while he was not at his home?
That is not true.
Isn't it a fact that the picture that you're taking while in his bed was taken on that date that you and Dominique burglarized his home?
Objection. Sustained as to form.
Isn't it a fact that you took this picture in his bed, the date that you and Dominique actually went there?
That's incorrect.
Your shoes are on, am I correct?
Yes,
You're dressed in tight-fitting clothes, am I correct?
that's correct.
And you're testifying that you told the jury yesterday that Robert's rules were that you could not wear tight-fitting clothes. That's what you told the jury yesterday. Am I correct?
That's correct.
You testified and told the jury that Robert said that you were to wear baggy clothes, sweatpants. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And loose-fitting blouse. Am I correct?
A loose-fitting shirt.
Shirt. You would agree with me that the pants you were wearing were not baggy. Am I correct?
That's correct.
You would agree with me that the shirt you're wearing is not loose-fitting.
That's correct.
Now, this photograph that you said you took when Robert was home, how long had you been in the home that day?
I'm not sure.
Do you recall what time you got there?
I do not.
When you would go to Robert's home, would you lie in his bed with your shoes on?
You can repeat that.
When you would go to Robert's home, would you lie in his bed with your shoes on?
Not all the time.
Not all the time. When did you do it?
I would randomly do it at times.
This just happened to be one of the days, right?
Yes.
Now, you and Bubba had a relationship, am I correct?
Objection.
Overruled.
What kind
of relationship?
Come on. A sexual relationship.
Objection.
Sustain.
You and Bubba had a sexual relationship.
Objection.
Can I see the parties on the side?
Can I take a break real quick? 1 second. I'll be right back.
I need a break too. Ooh, y'all. This is like, ooh, Jesus and cheese and crackers. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
It's good, yeah.
This is what you don't hear on the news.
Exactly.
How you guys liking this so far? We got a long ways to go. We might have to stop and we got to stop by 4:00 because I have to get ready for tonight's show, and then we'll continue tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Afterwards. You forgot about the chat, trial and error? You were listening?
So is that 3:00 Central Time, 4:00 your time?
Yeah. No, 3.
Okay.
4:00 my time, yeah. 4:00 my time.
Yeah, 3:00 my time. Okay.
Who's reading for Demetrius? T. Stephen, you said? I bet Kanik is defendant. Takesh 69. That was play on the road. Yep. We're just taking a break for a second, guys, because this is a lot of reading. It's 288 pages, guys. And we're only at what page are we on? 90?
90.
Yeah, we're on page 90. You say you wish I wasn't coming on as a guest today? Come on now, Bree. You can't do that to them. Bree, we're going to continue tomorrow. Listen, we're going to be reading and reading and reading and reading and reading till it's all done. So you guys can get a whiff of it. Y'all can always come back to live and listen to it. Parts that's missing. So. Oh, that's good, Sylvia. You need to keep up with the transcript. Yeah, travel. Let me tell you something. There must be something up with it because with us reading, when I read what the judge said, she's making she's going through the transcript to see what we can put out. So I think that's the reason why they haven't put that one out yet, because we got the other ones real quick. This one here, the first day one we got, but then the second day and the third day, they're making it like hard, like pulling teeth. Yeah, court's on break. Oh, Lord have mercy. Kanik, are you coming back yet? Kanik is taking too long. He's making it really like the courts.
He's doing a good job, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So funny.
He's actually doing really good.
Isn't he? Yeah.
He's really doing good.
Okay, I'm back.
Thank you.
Okay.
You ready, Kanik? All right.
Yes.
Here we go. I made pretrial ruling that the witness' prior sexual conduct was not relevant, and I precluded inquiries of this. This is the second question that you put to this witness about her relationship with other people. And if there is some reason, an exception to my ruling, I would expect that would be applied to me before asking the witness. I'm sustaining the objection. I do not see the relevance of it unless you can explain it. I am very disappointed with this line of questioning.
Your Honor, this witness testified that she gave my client large sums of money after she got the settlement from him. Based on the records we received from the government, she gave Bubba monies from the settlement money. Bubba was the person, according to her, that stopped her from actually burglarizing my client's home. And Bubba was the one who was supposed to call my client and alert my client and did nothing about it. There's a theory here that she and Bubba were basically in cahoots in terms of what was going on to get money from my client.
I mentioned when I made this ruling, the rule requires that you have to make a specific and articulate reason to question a witness along these lines. You are among the best lawyers. You are among the best lawyers that I have worked with. Okay. So I know you know this, and you do not do that. You do not do that. You just ask her the question, and I'm precluding. You had to make an application to me. You didn't do it. Do it. If this was your theory, that's what you should have done. It's beyond inappropriate to ask a witness in this situation a question like that.
Well, then, am I allowed to ask the witness about their relationship, leaving out the sexual part?
First of all, if the theory is she's conspired with them, I'm not sure the sex part of it matters.
It shows the closeness and the trust.
I don't know what evidence you have that they have any kind of relationship, but it doesn't matter because I precluded it from you. I precluded you from bringing it out, this evidence. And if there is some reason for you to do it, you should have made the application. You can't do it. This talking about herpes has zero to do with questioning, with this questioning.
Look how broad this question is.
So the record is clear, Mr. Canick. Co-counsel has come with a portion of the transcript during which the government was asking the witness questions about herpes. The questions were confined specifically to this period of time. I'm not going to discuss this anymore because I don't see what there's a foundation for this question. And it's in its direct contradiction to what I told you. So please don't ask the question. Move on to something else.
Can I get some water?
Yes.
Now, yesterday you testified and told the jury about a settlement you got from Robert. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you testified about your giving him monies back.
Yes.
Now, you also gave Bubba some of the money. Am I correct?
Yes.
How much money did you give Bubba?
$4,000.
Now, do you remember when it was that you started giving Bubba money?
It was only once, and I don't recall.
Now, yesterday you testified and told the jury that Rob settled the case with you and gave you money for your silence. Do you remember telling us that?
That's correct.
Now, I want you to, Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to look at the government's Exhibit 92B. That's the settlement agreement. Am I correct? Between you and Robert?
This is the second one. Yes.
It's the second one?
Yes.
Okay. Now, may I have that back for a second?
Yes.
And just for the record, can you make clear that you previously showed 3500-JP29, not 928?
Yes. I am now showing the government Exhibit 92B. That is the agreement that you signed. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And who was your attorney at this time?
Susan Loggins and Patrick Condra.
And you testified and told us yesterday that basically the settlement agreement came about for Rob's purchase for your silence. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
Now, I want you to read that agreement, and when you get to the part where it says it's for the purpose of your silence, I want you to let us know, okay?
Objection.
Well, overrule. Actually, sustain in that as that form. Why don't you just put the question to the witness, and then if you have a question you want to ask her, you can do that.
Look at the document. Does it say any place in there that Rob is signing this agreement to purchase your silence?
This is a completely mistral question for you.
Now, what's your question?
Oh, it's me.
Oh,
Now, what's your question?
may it be read back?
Sure.
No, it does not.
Read paragraph 1 for the jury, will you?
Kelly enters into this confidential settlement agreement and release without any admission of liability or wrongdoing. And Kelly expressly denies engaging in any inappropriate, improper, or wrongful conduct of any type or manner. Johnson acknowledges, confirms, and represents that at one time she told Kelly that she was 19 years of age. Kelly asserts that Johnson showed him an identification card stating that she was 19 years of age, that she never told him that she was under 19 years of age, and never showed him any identification indicating that she was under 19 years of age. Johnson has agreed to substantially reduce her original settlement demand in light of assertions of Kelly. Kelly has agreed to pay the settlement proceeds solely to avoid the cost of litigation.
And you signed that, am I correct?
I did sign this.
May I have it back? And you signed this after consulting with your attorneys, am I correct?
I didn't see the agreement before I signed it, but I signed the last page of it.
So you signed something that you didn't even see?
That's correct.
Are you telling this jury that you never read it?
I read it after I obtained my file from my attorney, but I never knew what was in the original settlement because my attorneys never let me get it.
So it's your testimony that you went to the office, you did go to their office.
That's correct.
And how long were you at the office?
On which day?
On the date that you signed this agreement.
I was there less than an hour.
And before that date, Had you been to that office before?
Yes.
How many times?
I was there probably twice before having to sign papers.
And during the times that you were there, those two occasions, did you discuss the settlement?
We talked about the settlement the day I had to sign the paper.
And before that, you never discussed settlement.
I didn't know anything about it.
But you did learn about it the day that you were there for the settlement. Am I correct?
Yes. A lot of things wasn't discussed with me.
I didn't ask you that. I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah, I just, you know, I know
I
Rob.
said that you did learn about it on that date you went to do for the settlement.
Yes.
Okay. And before signing it, your attorneys explained it to you.
Yes.
And you were how old at that time?
Hey, I ain't no thief, but I'll take some shit.
At the time, I was 16.
And your mother was there?
Yes, she was.
And your mother signed it. Am I correct?
Yes, she did.
And your mother had been involved with this procedure of the outset. Am I correct?
I don't understand your question.
Wasn't your mother involved with this litigation and helping you? Well, with this process and helping you with this process.
She was present. Yes.
Now, after you signed this, you got another lawyer. Am I correct?
That's correct.
How much longer after that did you retain another lawyer?
It was just a few months after.
So, a few months after you retained another lawyer.
Yes.
And you retained that other lawyer to sue Rob.
Yes.
And then you retained a third lawyer.
Yes.
And you retained that lawyer as well to sue Rob.
Yes.
Now, there was another settlement. Am I correct? A settlement agreement?
That's correct.
And that one was signed by you as well. Am I correct?
Yes.
And that one was read before you signed it.
Yes. I was allowed to read that one.
And was it explained to you before you signed it?
Yes, it was.
And your mother was with you in the process as well?
No, she wasn't.
So you did this one by yourself?
Yes, I did.
How old were you at that time?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember what year you signed it?
I don't recall the year I signed it.
Well, may I approach the witness?
Yes. Sorry.
Here, Nelly, hand me that document there. Look at this document and see if it refreshes your recollection to the date you signed it, the second agreement.
Can you note for the record what document you just showed her?
3500 JP 29.
So this is familiar.
You've had an opportunity to review the document?
Yes.
Does it refresh your recollection of as to the date
Yes.
that it was signed by you?
Yes.
What was that date?
August of 2013.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 20.
Now, when you would stay at, according to you, Rob's house, you testified that there were times that you had to ask permission to go to the bathroom.
That's correct.
Now, what rooms were you in generally were you when you were there?
I was mainly in the mirror room in Music One.
So mirror room has a bathroom, am I correct?
Yes, it does.
And is your testimony you had to ask permission to go to the bathroom in the mirror room?
Yes.
And how long generally would you have to wait in there before you could get permission?
Generally, it would be fast if I was on his good side, and he'll get back to me within about 5 minutes.
And what if you were on his bad side?
If I was on his bad side, then I have to wait until he would give me permission.
What I'm asking you, approximately how long?
The longest period was 3 days.
So, you're in a room. You don't see the man for 3 days. You need to go to the bathroom. And you don't relieve yourself?
That's incorrect.
You just testified and told us that the longest you had to wait was 3 days. Am I correct?
That's correct.
You're in the mirror room.
Yes.
The bathroom is right there.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you testified and told us yesterday about an occasion where you were called to the tour bus by Rob.
What's your question?
You testified and told the jury yesterday that there came a point in time when you were actually in his home, and he was in tour bus, and he called you to the tour bus.
Yes.
And when you got to the tour bus, you testified and told us about 2 people being on the bus. Am I correct?
Yes.
Rob and another woman, correct?
That's correct.
And before that, has you ever been on a tour bus?
No.
Describe the tour bus.
His tour bus was a big black travel bus, and it had red and tan lines on the outside of it.
Now, you had seen that bus on a number of occasions, am I correct?
That's correct.
So it was no problem with you recognizing that bus, am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, describe the interior of that bus.
The interior of the bus was tan, and there's a table in there, and he has like long.
Where's the table?
The table is to the left side of the bus when you get on it.
And go ahead, finish responding.
And then there's seating, and there's a bathroom on the bus.
What about bunk beds?
I don't recall seeing bunk beds on the bus.
How many bathrooms on the bus?
I only saw one.
Where was that one?
It was towards like the after the table, like towards the middle of the bus.
And then you testified and told us that there came a point in time when you got herpes.
Yes.
And you testified that before that, Rob had never mentioned anything to you about herpes. Am I correct?
That about him having herpes?
Yes.
That's correct.
Well, until I find it, I'll move to another area. Now, let's go to the blue t-shirt. You testified and told us yesterday that essentially that Robert assaulted you on the last time you met with him and had sexual encounter with him.
That's correct.
And you testified and told us that he slapped you with an open hand in your face. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you testified that he also choked you out. Am I correct?
That's correct.
That you literally passed out.
That's correct.
And you testified that he also spat in your face.
That's correct.
And then you went on and told us that after all of this, you had a sexual encounter with him. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, when he slapped you, did you fall?
No, I did not.
He slapped you with a lot of force, though. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any marks on your body on your face?
I don't recall.
But he slapped you real hard. Am I correct?
Hard to me? Yes.
And he's much bigger than you are, correct?
That's correct.
And where specifically on your face were you hit?
I was hit on my right side.
Okay. On your jaw or across your lips or
I was hit across my cheek.
across your cheek. Did it catch any part of your lip?
The side of it.
The side of your lip? Now, with that force, your lips were swollen, am I correct?
My lips were not swollen.
Cheeks were swollen?
My cheek was stinging, but I'm not sure if it was swollen.
And any blood coming from the lip?
No.
And then what happened first? Did he slap you first or choke you first?
He slapped me first.
And then he choked you.
Correct.
And then he choked you out. Where were you?
I don't understand the question.
Well, when he choked you, were you standing?
Yes, I was.
And you were right in front of him.
Yes, I was.
And you said he choked you out till you passed out. Is that correct?
Yes, against the wall.
So when you woke up, you were on the floor. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And had he spat it on you before that?
Had he did what?
Lord, give me strength. Oh, gosh. You said he spat on you, right?
Yes.
Was that before the slap?
That was after I got up and I was on the floor.
Oh,
You were on the floor. So he reached down and looked down and spat on you.
That's correct.
And it was in your face.
That's correct.
And then after that, you got up and you had sex with him.
That's correct.
And then you went home.
That's correct.
And it was on the ride home, you took the train.
Yes, I did.
It's a 2-hour ride.
Yes.
And on that ride on the train, you started thinking about how humiliating that was.
Yes.
And you start thinking about, you know what? I'm going to take this. I'm not going to take this anymore.
Yes.
You start thinking about, I'm going to go to a lawyer.
Not at the time.
Well, when did you start thinking about going to a lawyer?
I wanted to go to the lawyer like when I got home. I didn't think about it on the train ride.
Okay, but when you got home, you thought about going to a lawyer, right? Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you started gathering your evidence. Is that correct?
That's incorrect.
You didn't start thinking about, okay, when am I going to tell this lawyer what evidence I have?
No, I did not.
Well, after you were taking a ride home and he smacked your face, did you take any photographs of your face?
I did not.
Did you tell your mom?
Once I got home, yes, I did.
Did you call the cops?
No, we did not.
But you called a civil lawyer.
Yes.
A civil lawyer would try to get you money. Am I correct?
That's correct.
A criminal lawyer brings you here.
I'm sorry. I don't understand the question.
I'm sorry. The criminal case brings you here.
I see.
That's correct.
Now, I want to go to that shirt, the blue t-shirt that you testified about. You said as of that day, the last day you saw Rob, you used that T-shirt, which was yours. Am I correct?
That's correct.
You wore that T-shirt over there.
Yes, I did. Wait, can you clarify to where's the destination? Over where?
Well, you said you were at Rob's house. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you said that there came a point in time that you used the T-shirt to wipe the spit off your face and the semen off your face. Am I correct?
Yes.
And that was the T-shirt that you wore over there. Am I correct?
Yes.
What did you wear home?
My T-shirt?
The same T-shirt?
Yes.
So you've been in control of that T-shirt from that date until you took it to your lawyer. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, do you know whether or not anyone ever ran a test to see if your DNA was on that T-shirt, to see if that shirt belongs to you?
Not that I know of.
So the only information that we have that this T-shirt belongs to you is your word. Am I correct?
Objection.
Sustain.
If you can find a convenient place, this is it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your lunches are here. So I'm going to excuse you for lunch. Please, again, I know I said it all the time, but I still mean it. Do not talk about the case at all. Do not look at anything. Do not look anything up about the case. And we'll see you back at 2:15. Have good lunch. Court deputy? Court deputy.
All right. Sorry.
Okay, everyone, have a seat.
Can we
Ready,
let the
set.
witness leave, Your Honor?
Yes, I keep forgetting. Go ahead. All right. Just in terms of scheduling, how much longer do you have?
I thought it would be faster, but it's about an hour.
Another hour?
Yes.
You told me when we broke before that you had a half an hour and a half.
You know I'm horrible at this, Your Honor.
All right. But
Oh.
we have a witness who is ready to deliver a baby at any moment. And so I'm going to ask you to be economical and more economical in your examination of the witness.
Will do, Your Honor.
I think it's in everyone's interest to get this witness finished. And to the extent there is any redirect, I expect the same thing. So I know you can't determine how much redirect you have, but think about it. Another question that I just have for you all generally is there seems to be a number of exhibit that you have seemed to agree to go into evidence. If you can agree on them in advance without the need to lay a foundation, that will also move this along. As interesting as it is to hear foundation question, there is no dispute about particular pieces of evidence. Let's agree on them. All right? We return at 2:15.
Your Honor, can we raise some of the housekeeping matters, or do you want to wait?
Yes, go ahead.
It has come to our attention that Mr. Farinella issued a tweet. I don't know if that's the proper use. On Tuesday of this week, that, in our opinion, is a violation of Local Rule 23.1 and indirect.
What does the tweet say?
Excuse me?
What does it say?
The tweet says, after all, the RICO enterprise is based on a series of independent relationships and events that the government is trying to patch together, like different types of fabric, and trying to pass it off as silk. And the rule provides...
I'm familiar with the rule. Did you tweet Mr. Farinella? Farinella, Stephen, could you, Trevor, can you take that one for me? Number 14. Is he still here? T.
Hey,
Stephen.
my mic was muted. My bad.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why did you do that? Didn't I specifically instruct you not to make remarks to the media? And in keeping with the rule, are you familiar with the rule and the local rule, that local rule?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why did you do that then?
I did not think that tweet was violative and of the rule, Your Honor.
It's a violation of the rule. Do not do it again. Oh.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else?
Yes, Your Honour. It's 2 quick matters. The government wishes to call one witness by a video conference such that she will testify from a courthouse in Chicago. The defence has no objection. And if we can set it up, does Your Honour have any problem with that?
I don't, as long as everyone agrees to it.
And then the last matter is there have been requests by the media for several pieces of evidence that were entered into evidence yesterday, to include the defendant's government exhibit 1, which is a photograph of the defendant.
I'm just going to cut you off just to say the evidence. The items that I have been admitted into evidence can obviously be shared with the media outlet, except to the extent there's a non-public information in them. So as long as they are admitted into evidence, I understand someone from your office took it upon himself to make those arrangements. As I said before, that is going to out of his lane. There are court exhibits, but if there is something set up for you to do that, you can use it.
Okay, but just to be clear, we haven't shared anything.
No, that's fine.
Yes.
But if there is a request, in the olden days, we would lay it out, the exhibits, and the media could come and look at them. Whatever form it is that you want to share it with them is fine.
And just lastly, there will be some exhibits that the government will enter into evidence that we will object to sharing more publicly. But we can address those as they come.
I think that's fine. All right. Have a good lunch. All right, court deputy.
Where am I? All rise.
While we're getting Mr. Kelly, I would like to see counsel at sidebar. Ooh, this is
Oh, they got this blacked out?
Yeah, it's all black.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What's going on here?
What is going on? Dang.
My goodness.
It's just to the proceedings, isn't it?
Oh my God. Okay.
331, it comes back on.
We're at page 119, y'all. I know that was a long one. Oh no, let's keep going. Y'all.
We on
331, isn't it?
331.
Yeah.
123?
331. Yeah.
No, it's 123.
No,
It's blanked out
331.
though.
Oh.
Right there.
Yeah, but it's page
Right
123.
There you go.
331, yeah.
Okay, let's get the witness. Do you want when do you want me to give her that instruction? Now?
I think so. So that we don't have to take a break between when he finishes.
That's fine. Before we bring the jury, I want to tell the witness Mr. Canick has a few more questions for you. When the government is going to ask you some question, then the government is going to ask you some question. And I know they gave you some instruction not to talk about certain things, including the nature of the trial that took place in 2008. But you may answer any question that the lawyer asks you, okay?
Okay.
That's list that lifted that's lifting, I mean, unless I sustain an objection during the course of the questioning, but it's okay for you to answer the question of that subject. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. Let the jury, let's get the jury.
All rise.
You may be seated. All right. We're back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to resume.
Whenever you're ready. Thank you, Your Honor.
That was me,
Oh,
Mr. Panic. Whenever you're ready.
thank you, Your Honor.
The witness is reminded that she's still under oath.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good morning.
I want to visit that party, the first party you went to.
Wait a minute, is it afternoon or is it morning?
He said good afternoon because they supposed to came back from lunch at
Oh, lunch.
2:15.
Yeah, so why did
She said good morning.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. I want to visit that party, the first party you went to for the less than 30 minutes one last time. Now, at that party, there was a DJ, am I correct?
I don't recall a DJ being there.
Okay, now you were asked earlier by the government what, if anything, that Mr. Kelly told you about herpes. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, and your response is that he told you nothing about herpes. Am I correct?
He told me nothing about him having herpes.
Now, you testified and told us earlier that you had several meetings with the government. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And when you had these meetings, there were agents and assistant United States attorneys. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, prior to the briefing and asking you questions, they advised you that making a false statement or telling a lie to a federal official is a crime. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And they told you that on numerous indications, am I correct?
That's correct.
And you swore here earlier today to tell the truth.
That's correct.
And you swore yesterday to tell the truth.
That's correct.
And then you recall being interviewed by the agents on February 27, 2019.
I'm not sure of the exact date.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor? May I approach
What's
the
the
witness,
name?
Your Honor?
Oh,
Line
sorry.
23.
Where am I at?
Line 23.
Line 23.
Oh, I moved up ahead. Sure.
JP2. I direct your attention to the top left-hand portion under details of investigation and see if that refreshes your recollection as to whether or not you had an interview with the government on that particular day.
Yes.
When you say yes, after having reviewed the document, does that refresh your recollection that you had an interview with the government on February 27, 2019?
Yes.
And on that date, they gave you the admonition that making a false statement is the federal offense. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, when they asked you about herpes and my client on that date, you told them one day Kelly confided in me and informed her Daddy's not doing too good. Have you ever heard of herpes? That he further informed you that a few people close to him have it, and it has been traveling around since the late 90s. He went on to explain that herpes was a virus, even though it was curable. You cannot get rid of it. And then, according to you, he instructed you to look down there to make sure it wasn't traveling. And that you stated to the government that he only opened up to the people about herpes that he really trusts. And that you recall that conversation took place around July of 2009. And that he further, according to you, instructed you to lay down. He visibly and physically inspected your vagina with his finger, and that he informed you that you could tell anyone that she contracted genital herpes from him. Did you remember telling the government that on February 27, 2019?
Most of it, yes.
But you just testified on oath that he told you nothing about herpes.
Uh-oh.
This was during my outbreak when I had found out I had it.
Uh-oh.
No, that's not my question. My question is, you came in here yesterday, took an oath to tell this jury the truth. And when you were asked by the government, what did my client tell you about herpes? And you said, he told you nothing. You remember telling us that?
Yes.
But now, what I just read to you, you told the government a total different story. Am I correct?
What you read, I don't recall.
Okay. I see. Now, you did testify and told us earlier that prior to coming in and giving testimony to the jury, you and the government went over these questions that they put to you at least 3 times.
Objection.
Sustain as to form.
You and the government went over the questions they put to you. Am I correct?
Yes.
More than once.
Yes.
More than twice.
I'm not sure. It was more than twice.
Now, I think you testified yesterday as well that there came a point in time that you started after you sued Robert and got a settlement that you gave money back. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
And I think you told us that you did that because you felt bad about what was happening, what you guys have been going through.
Yes.
Okay, but you sued him 3 other times. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
2 other times.
That's correct.
And after the first lawsuit, how much time elapsed before you sued him the second time?
A few months.
And that was the only other time you sued him?
No, it wasn't.
That was another time, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how much time elapsed from the second time to the next time?
3 years.
But you felt bad about what you were going through, am I correct?
That's correct.
And now you also testified and told the jury that even after the lawsuit, you wanted to continue to be his friend.
That's correct.
In fact, you wanted to get back with him according to you.
That's correct.
In fact, according to you, you wanted to get the relationship back in gear again.
That's correct.
Now, when you were hoping to get the relationship back in gear again, was that after the first lawsuit, but before the second one?
Yes.
And when you sued him the second time, were you still hopeful after the second time to get the relationship jump started again?
Yes.
In fact, as you sit here today, you still hopeful of getting a relationship with him. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
When did you stop hoping and wanting to get a relationship with him?
I'm not sure of the date.
Was it in 2017,
It was before then.
2016?
It was before then. I'm just not sure of the year.
Okay. So I asked you this morning about the time that you went to Mr. Kelly's house for a party and whether or not you encountered security. Do you remember me asking you that?
Yes.
And you told us that basically what you did is that you called Bubba. He met you and just escorted you through. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Well, again, you had interviews with the government where you discussed these details. Am I correct?
Yes.
And do you recall, or isn't it a fact, that you told the government on February 27, 2009, in that same interview that was just referenced that when you arrived at Kelly's front gate, security asked for your names? That's what you told the government on that date. Am I correct?
Yes.
So you didn't tell them that when you got to the gate and you had already called Bubba and Bubba came and met you, you didn't tell him that, right?
I don't recall.
But you now admit that you were encountered by security. They stopped you. Am I correct?
It wasn't like actual security that stopped us.
I'm I'm just confused. Is Bubba security?
No.
Oh, is this somebody else?
Yes.
Bubba, he plays the security role.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to clarify.
Bubba owns a tattoo parlor. Am I correct?
Yeah, so you're,
That's
yes.
correct.
Yeah.
Bubba is a friend of Robert Kelly. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You are telling this jury under oath that Bubba's part of security.
Yes. Bubba is part of his security team.
Okay, now, so when you told the jury earlier this morning that you had an encounter with security, what you are telling us is that because Bubba, who, according to you, is part of the security, but you don't view him as security. So it was fair for you to say that you had an encounter with security.
Objection.
Sustain.
I confused myself with that one, Judge. Now, when you told the jury this morning that you did not have an encounter with security, you meant that because you had Bubba who was part of security come get you.
That's correct.
Now tell the jury why. Tell the jury why. When you were interviewed by the government, you told them that security came, that security stopped you and asked for your name.
I don't recall.
But Bubba's supposed to know her name, right? Okay. Now, I'm not asking you if you recall anything. I'm asking you to explain something. Why? If Bubba was part of the security and you did not view him as security, why would you tell the government in that meeting that when you arrived at the front gate, security asked you for your name?
Miss Geddes? Miss Geddes? Is she around?
Did she leave?
Sorry.
We on page 341,
Objection.
line 1.
Thank you. Objection.
Do you remember why you told the government that?
I don't recall.
Wow. Wow. The judges even asked.
This is what the news media.
The rules media don't tell you this, y'all. They don't tell you this.
But you
breaking
agree,
up. You breaking up.
right?
You breaking up.
But you would agree with me that, but am I still breaking up?
Go ahead.
No, you can.
But you would agree with me that Bubba knew your name, right?
Yes, Bubba knew my name.
So you got.
Let the witness finish.
Bubba knew my name.
So Bubba would not have asked you for your name. Am I correct?
That's correct.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Were you by yourself at this time?
No, he was with Kianya.
I see. Go ahead.
According to you, what you told us the other day is that Bubba invited you and Kiana. Am I correct?
Bubba invited me, and I was with Kianya.
Bubba did not invite you and Kiana?
Me and Kianya was together.
When Bubba extended the invitation, he did not invite you and Kiana.
That's correct. He invited me, and I was with Kianya.
So during your interview with the government, isn't it a fact that you told the government? Isn't it a fact that you told the government in and around May 2009 that you formally met Kelly through one of his friends identified as Jermaine? At the time, you were approximately 16 years old, and you identified Jermaine as Jermaine Maxey, also known as Bubba, and you stated that.
Objection.
Well, do you have a question to put to the witness?
Yes.
Rather than just reading the whole thing.
Isn't it a fact that you told the government that you stated that you first met Maxey through MySpace, and after communicating with Maxey, you invited you and your friend to personally meet up? Do you remember telling the government that?
Yes.
And then you made plans to meet at the tattoo shop.
That's correct.
And after making arrangements at this tattoo shop, Maxey contacted you and invited you and your friend to attend one of Kelly's parties instead.
That's correct.
Oh my God, she just.
So he invited you and your friend.
He invited me, and I was with my friend. So in speaking terms, he invited us. I'm saying it's the person I'm with. So if I'm invited, I'm bringing them with me.
Isn't it a fact that you told the government during that meeting of February 27, 2019, that Maxey contacted you and invited you?
Objection.
Overruled, that means you can answer.
Okay.
That's okay?
That's correct.
When you gave testimony here under oath, you testified that to the question, what led you to go into the defendant's home in May 2009? And your answer was, we were supposed to be going to a tattoo parlor and ended up getting invited to his home by Bubba. He invited us to a party. That's what you testified to under oath.
That's correct.
Now, you testified earlier and told us that about this assault, according to you, that Robert inflicted upon you the last time you two got together for a sexual encounter. Do you remember telling about that?
Yes, I do.
You told us that after the assault, according to you, that he asked you to engage in sex then as well. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And after you had some initial sex, he told you to put on some heels so you can have intercourse. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect. Well, what did he tell you about the heels?
The heels are the heels that that he wanted me to wear whenever we had sex.
And he didn't ask you to, according to you?
He asked me about the heels, and that's when I told him that I left them at my uncle's house.
And he asked you about the heels for the purpose of having intercourse. Am I correct?
I'm assuming that's what he wanted.
Right. But when you spoke to the government in one of those interviews you had, you told them that on that same day, Robert was having a party. And you told him, Robert, that you needed to grab some heels for the party. Do you remember telling the government that?
Yes.
And you told the government that you left and never returned.
That's correct.
So when you told the government about this during that interview, you told them that you grabbed the heels for the party and not for sex. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Incidentally, do you remember telling someone that in connection with this case or with this incident that you drove by Rob's house over 30 times?
No, I do not recall that.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'm going to direct your attention to the highlighted portion.
Hold on a second, Kanik. 1 second. I just wanted to inform you guys. A lot of people have been sending me requests regarding to the interview that was done with Azriel. There is some questions about it. I believe that the reason why it has not been released is because I think the judge is trying to determine whether or not her testimony is going to be impeached. So that's one of the reasons why that have not been released. So I guess we have to wait. We have to wait to what decision the judge makes on that. Okay. So we have the first part, which is the 23rd, but everything else we don't have because quite a few people have been texting me and asking me about that. All right. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to direct your attention to the highlighted portion. See if that refreshes your recollection that you told someone of the fact that you drove to Rob's home.
What document are you showing her?
JP 15.
We didn't have Mr. Scarlett.
Is it me? No.
It's Canic's time.
Yes. Hold on. Oh, that's me. That's sorry.
Yeah.
Yes or no? Does that refresh your recollection that you told someone that you drove past Rob's studio to see if his tour bus was there over 30 occasions?
When did this happen?
The document or the 30 occasions.
30 occasions.
About.
Go ahead. Does that refresh in your memory?
It does not.
When you say, now, yes or no? Are you familiar? May we have a brief sidebar?
Sure.
I'm almost done. So in this interview, this post interview of the polygraph, because I don't want to be in an argument that by asking of the name of polygrapher that I'm opening the door to the polygraph.
I think you ask her if this refreshes her memory, but whether she said this And then she said it doesn't. It doesn't. I think it matters to whom she said it.
Okay.
I don't.
I think that's probably is something before any of this happened.
After?
This is after the lawsuit is settled and referring to.
I see.
She's still stalking. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Mm. I'm not accepting that characterization, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
She's
Now
a stalker. Stalker 30 times over somebody's house. Dang.
okay.
Stalker.
All right. Now I'm back to it. Okay. Now, do you remember having a video recording done as you waited out by Robert's home?
I do.
Do you remember when it was that you were waiting outside of this home?
I do not.
Were you waiting alone?
I'm not sure.
What were you waiting in? Were you just standing around waiting, or were you in a car?
A car?
How old were you?
I don't recall.
Was this before January 10th and January 10th, 2010?
I'm not sure.
Let me show you a document and see if it refreshes your recollection. May I approach the witness?
Sure, yes.
Okay, now if you look at the bottom portion underlined in red, see if it refreshes your recollection as to whether or not this was before or after your initial lawsuit.
I'm not sure.
What page are you showing her?
54.
Reading that doesn't look familiar.
When you were waiting out by Rob's house, you were in a vehicle, were you not?
Objection.
I think you have to refer her to. My recollection is the witness said she didn't recall that.
I'm going to get to that.
Let's do it with a proper question.
You testified earlier that you recall making a video recording as you sat in front of Rob's house. Is that correct?
That's correct.
When you sat in front of Rob's house, how long was it that you was there?
I'm not sure.
Was it hours?
I'm not sure how long it was.
Was it more than 5 minutes?
I'm not sure.
What were you waiting for?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
You drove from somewhere to go to his home. Am I correct?
That's correct.
You parked your car in front of his home. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you wait there. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And you're telling this jury that you did that. You took these steps, but you don't know why?
It was, yes. That's what I'm telling you.
Did you have an occasion where you would leave your home and go and park in front of anyone else's house and sit there?
Objection.
Yes.
I haven't ruled on the objection. Sustained.
Now, when you sat there, you were concerned as to whether or not Rob had moved. Am I correct?
I don't recall.
You don't recall as you sat there telling the other person that you wondered whether or not he had moved?
I do not recall.
You don't recall telling the other person that you had been sitting there for a while and hadn't seen him?
I don't recall.
You don't recall telling the other person?
Objection.
Overruled.
I should just walk up to him. You're Rob. You're Robert Kelly. I'm hoping his manager is not around. His manager will get in the way.
Did you show her this already and ask her if she recall it rather than reading it? Do you want to refresh in her recollection? See if it refreshes her recollection.
Hey, this
Oh my
is
God,
a
the
whole.
judge is
Hey,
even trying.
hey, this ain't Lifetime. This a whole
Oh, Jesus.
different ball game. It's a whole different ball game in that courtroom. Sure, Your Honor. To the bottom portion.
I don't recall this.
Just 1 second, Your Honor. I'm looking to see if there's anything further.
Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sure.
That's okay.
This ain't what the news media been telling
Oh
y'all.
my God, y'all. I'm
Mm-mm.
sorry. Oh.
You testified to us earlier. You do in fact recall driving from some place and sitting in front of his home. Do you remember how many times you actually did that?
I do not recall.
But you recall doing it.
I recall at least once. Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you ready to redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just 2 questions, Your Honor.
You already said you're done. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
In your book, you testify you didn't embellish anything when you wrote the book about your experience in connection with these facts that you told us about.
Objection.
Did you testify? Look, she coming in to help him. Like, did you testify that you didn't make anything up in this book that you wrote?
Yes.
Go ahead.
In the book, you wrote that during that trial that you sat through in 2008, that Rob blew kisses at you, correct?
That's correct.
Did that happen?
Yes, that did.
It happened. He didn't know you, right?
He did not know me.
Thank you. No further.
Go ahead, Miss Geddes. Can I see the lawyers on the side without the court reporter?
I know what she was telling them.
My God, y'all, I am
She
so.
said without the court recorder.
This is crazy. How in
He
the
probably busting up,
world?
making
Wait a
jokes
minute.
and
How in
everything.
the world the news is reporting what they're reporting? I don't understand. We just read this mess. That girl was a stalker. She was all over the place. And seems like Bubba is part of this. Don't it seem like it? He got some money.
I don't want to say that because remember, she is a self-proclaimed liar, so she could.
He got $4,000.
She is
That's what she said.
a self-proclaimed liar.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, let me strike that. Let me strike that. Let me strike that.
We didn't say she a liar. She said she a liar.
All right, yeah, y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody fall asleep? Did anybody fall asleep?
No.
No.
I just don't want to give the liar any type of credit. And they said they're a liar. But where were we?
Who is it?
Miss Geddes on line 2. 353.
I'm number 3. Okay.
Why are you saying? Oh, see, I'm on the computer. There's no 353. There's no pages 353.
It's 145.
Okay, it's 145 because it's 200 something.
But it's page on the actual documents. It's 353. Line number 2 is where you'll start.
Gotcha.
353.
Yes,
Right.
Mhm.
353 in the corner.
On cross-examination, I believe earlier today, Defence Counsel asked you about certain telephone calls that were stored in your telephone in Government Exhibit 210 and are reflected on 210 UTS and R Do you recall those questions?
Yes.
And one of the questions that defence counsel asked was whether or not the date of these telephone calls, January the 23rd, was after the last time that you saw the defendant at his house. Do you recall the question?
Yes.
As you sit here today, do you know the date that you last saw the defendant at his residence?
I do not.
You testified, however, that shortly after you last saw the defendant, you retained a lawyer, correct?
That is correct.
And you said that happened in January 2010, right?
That's correct.
As part of that, you prepared this journal that was reflected in 3500 JP9, which I'm showing you.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, overruled. Overruled. He just like, objection.
Oh, God.
That's correct.
I'm going to turn to...
I don't think this is in evidence, is it?
It's not in evidence yet.
Can I see the parties on the sides for a minute?
Oh, Lord.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble, Geddes.
The fuck? Oh, okay. Is that my...
Okay. Are you planning to admit this? Admit it?
I'm planning to show her this 2-1, see if it refreshes her recollection as to the date on which she last saw him. Then I do want to have her read this as a prior consistent statement. I think her credibility has been significantly attacked both in opening and on...
has it?
I know, cross-examination. Oh,
In
gosh.
other words, her own person say she's a liar.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
The prosecutor say she's a liar.
Exactly. Right.
That's a nice way of saying it.
I wonder what they had to say about
I think her credibility has to be significantly attacked.
I know. Oh, gosh. She said this exact same thing 4 days after when she retained a lawyer as to what happened on January 23rd. I think she should be permitted to say that she said the same thing 4 days after it happened.
Do you object to that?
I don't see what is the prior consistent statement.
Hey, man, in fact, she's a liar.
Prior consistent or inconsistent?
You're offering it as prior consistent statement.
Yes, to reboot the claim of and to rehabilitate the witness.
Rehabilitate the liar.
And this is what her attorneys is saying.
Oh, my lordy.
Rehabilitate the liar, huh?
Yeah, they all need to be, don't they? All of them. Wow.
Okay.
Rob's coming home.
Look, Gaddis, that's your witness. What's going on?
I know.
Your own witness?
They're all the same, aren't they?
Okay, go ahead, John.
Right, is it me?
Where we at?
I think you're there.
21.
Daddy Lolo, number 21.
What is the prior consistent statement?
January 23rd, 2010, she went to Rob's house. Rob slapped me 3 times, said I lied to him. It's not going to be an open hand next time. Really?
Oh my, that is messed up. The old prosecutor trying to recover from the lies.
It didn't go as planned as they rehearsed.
Oh my Lord.
It didn't go as planned as they rehearsed.
She's been slaughtered. Now she got to help her recover from being slaughtered with the lies.
Oh my Lord. That's
All
so
right.
funny.
Go ahead, Kenneth, you being nice. She said, I'm not going to object. Let it in.
Let it in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I'm showing you the last page. Well, I'll show the witness only. The last page of 3500 JP9. The second to last page. Do you see what is shown on JP9?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to direct your attention to the last entry. You can read those 2 lines, then I'll turn it over to the next page. Can I turn it over?
Yes.
Does looking at those last 2 pages of 3500 JP9 refresh your recollection as to the last date that you saw the defendant at his residence?
Yes.
When was it?
January 23rd.
Of 2010?
Yes.
Can you please read to the jury your entry for January the 23rd of 2010? Take a moment.
It says, I went to Rob's house and Rob called me a silly bitch. Rob slapped me 3 times. He said if I lie to him again, it's not going to be an open hand next time. He spit in my face and in my mouth.
Hold on. You're supposed to be crying. You got to cry.
Is this why I'm crying?
While you're reading this, you got to cry.
Crying.
Oh, it don't say that here, but okay. It says, I went to Rob's house and Rob called me a silly bitch. Rob slapped me 3 times and he said, if I lie to him again, it's not going to be an open hand next time. He spit in my face and in my mouth and he slapped me in my face again for the 4th time. He choked me during an argument. I had sex with him. I had oral sex with him. And I became fed up with him and went home and confessed. Can I have a bathroom break?
Yes. Let's take our afternoon break, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take the witness off first.
Oh,
Well, we'll be in recess for 15 minutes. Don't talk about the case at all. See you in a few minutes. All right, the jury leaves the courtroom. Okay. One thing I want everyone to keep on their radar. Ms. Green will correct me if I'm wrong. Alternate number 3, let me see if I have this. Alternate number 3 can't start a new job until she doesn't start until the 23rd, but she's supposed to start orientation on the 23rd and won't get paid if she doesn't do the orientation. And if she doesn't get that, she also won't have any benefit. Apparently, her husband doesn't have benefit. There are many layers. I think I told you before there were some issues about picking kids up from school also. But we don't have to decide right now, but talk against yourself and see if you agree to excuse or what day is the 23rd?
Monday.
Well, talk about it at the end of the day. Ma'am.
You may be seated.
May I proceed, Your Honour?
Yes, go ahead.
The witness is reminded she's still under oath.
On cross-examination, do you recall being asked a question about where in Government's Exhibit 928 it said that your silence was being purchased? Do you recall those questions?
yes.
Did you draft Government Exhibit 928?
Objection.
Overruled.
No.
And how old were you when Government's Exhibit 928
Objection.
Overruled.
was drafted?
I was 16.
And because you were 16, was your mother also required to sign the agreement?
Yes, she was.
Is that her signature?
Yes, it is.
I'm showing one of the pages of 928. This is in evidence. May I publish that to the jury?
Yes.
Where my finger is pointing, is that your mother's signature?
Yes, it is.
Again, what was your understanding of your obligations under this agreement?
That I wasn't supposed to talk about it with anyone. I was supposed to remain silent and keep everything confidential.
And in exchange for that obligation, what did you get?
I was supposed to get $1.5 million settlement.
I'd like to direct your attention to paragraph 3. Do you see paragraph 3?
It's a bit blurry, but I can see it.
Can you see that now?
Yes, I can.
Can you read paragraph 3 for the jury, please?
Johnson and Kelly, Susan E. Logan's and Associates, PC, and Logan's firm expressly acknowledge and agree that the following are of highly confidential nature, and that Johnson and Kelly, Susan E. Logan's and Associates, PC, and Logan's firm, and anyone acting on their behalf under the control or in their employ would not disclose nor discuss in any fashion with anyone the following items.
Can you continue and read the items which were not to be discussed? Just before you do that, the first name up there says Johnson. Who is Johnson?
Johnson is me.
That was your maiden name?
Yes.
Can you now please read to the jury the items that you were not to discuss as provided in paragraph 3 that you just read?
The existence of a relationship, if any, between Johnson and Kelly. B, the fact that there was a dispute between Johnson and Kelly. C, the allegations underlying the dispute between Johnson and Kelly. D, the fact that the dispute has been terminated. And E, any term of this agreement provided, however, that this provision does not prohibit any disclosure of the proceeds to the proper taxing authorities or the allegations underlying the dispute when ordered by a court, competent jurisdiction, or as otherwise required by law.
On cross-examination, you were also asked how you were able to advance 2 years from April of 2008 until May of 2009. Do you recall those questions?
Yes, I do.
When was the first day that you encountered the defendant?
April Fool's Day of 2008.
How old were you then?
I was 14.
And when was your birthday?
April the 19th.
When did you turn 15?
April the 19th, 2008.
18 days after you met the defendant.
That's correct.
When did you turn 16?
April the 19th, 2009.
When did you meet the defendant? When did you first go to the defendant's house?
It was May of 2009.
So fair to say there were about 13 months that passed between April the 1st of 2008 and May of 2009 when you met the defendant.
That's correct.
Nothing further.
Any in recourse? It's limited to what came out of the redirect.
Yes. Your journal that you just testified on redirect, your lawyers asked you to prepare that journal. Am I correct?
That's correct.
They asked you after you had gone to their office to consult with them. Am I correct?
Mr. Cannick, can you take your mask off?
Thank you. It's hard to breathe.
I can't hear you.
It's hard to breathe. Okay. And when you were putting the entries into the journal, you were not doing it contemporaneously.
Contemporaneous.
Am I correct with the incidents that you put in there?
Rephrase your question.
When you made the entries in the journal, you made those entries well after the items that you placed in the journal. Am I correct?
I don't understand your question.
May I have the journal? What was the date that you prepared this journal?
I'm not sure of the date I prepared the journal.
You have an entry from May 30th, 2009.
Objection.
Overruled.
You have an entry from May 30th, 2009. You didn't prepare the journal on May 30th, 2009. Am I correct?
I don't recall exactly when I prepared the journal.
Well, had you seen the lawyers before May 30th, 2009?
No, I did not.
Yes, you
But-
did.
But there is an entry in the journal. Am I correct?
I didn't see the journal.
You testified, ma'am, and told the jury a short time ago.
I didn't see what the page you're talking about.
I think what Mr. Cannick is asking you is, did you prepare the journal before you met with the lawyers?
Yes, I did.
So that was after all the things that you told us about that happened in 2009, correct?
That's correct.
You didn't prepare the journal right after it happened, correct?
That's correct.
Sorry about that. She got tired of it. She had to go answer questions.
Wait till Faith get on that stand. Thank you, Your Honor. Bring us home, Faith. Bring us on home. Bring the king home. We depending on you.
The judge was like, okay, this is getting too much. Let me just go ahead and ask this girl. This girl just, okay.
When you were asked to prepare this journal by your attorneys, they told you to be accurate with the information. Am I correct?
That's correct.
In the journal, you told the attorneys that Robert slapped you 3 times. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And an eventual 4th time.
Geronda?
Line 13.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
You told the lawyers, at least you put in the journal, that he choked you.
That's correct.
You didn't put in there that he choked you out.
That's correct.
You put absolutely nothing in that journal about the supposedly t-shirt that you found withdrawn, about the supposed t-shirt that you had that you used to wipe off semen and spit from your face.
That's correct.
Nothing. I think that's it, Your Honor.
Sorry. Anything else?
Very briefly, on recross examination, you were asked about your meeting with a lawyer. Why did you go to a civil lawyer rather than seek another avenue?
Objection.
Sustained.
On recourse, you were also asked about the T-shirt that you testified earlier about that you used to wipe off the defendant's semen from your face. Do you recall that?
Yes.
What did you do with that T-shirt?
I gave the t-shirt to my attorney.
And that was your attorneys at the Logan's law firm?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Anything else?
Yes, one.
You're kidding, right? All right, one.
The prosecutors, the lawyer, and the defense lawyer is having a ball with her.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Kenneth.
Okay. Okay. Where
12.
am I? Okay. When did you give that T-shirt to your attorneys?
I don't recall the exact day.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. I'm going to take your part. All right. The witness can step down. All right. You ready to call your next witness?
Yes, the government calls Garrett Amsch.
Who the heck is that? Okay, y'all. Can we just stop now because we were supposed to stop at 4:00.
Yeah.
So we can stop. This is the last page. Almec, is this a guy? This Almec person?
It looks like it, Garrett.
I don't know.
If we could get a mail when we do the next read.
He's a police officer.
Oh, yes.
He's a police officer.
Yeah, witness and
Can we get a male who wants to help us read? Because Stevens came in for Demetrius, and we're gonna get the mail. But anyway, guys, you guys did a wonderful job.
Oh, I enjoyed that, Sylvia. That was great.
You coming back, Miss Geddes, right? You coming back?
Yeah, she has to come back with them.
Okay, so tomorrow,
Y'all done with me, right?
You guys are brilliant.
I think we are done with you. I think
we done. Y'all done with me. I can just sit in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are done with you. You said enough.
I don't lie enough. I don't need to.
Rhonda was a stalker. You played that really well.
Well, okay, you got to come back and do your role.
Daddy Lolo, you did too, and Sylvia.
You guys did an awesome job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So tomorrow we need a male to come and do the whatever his name is,
okay.
the attorney. But we'll be back on this channel at 8 p.m. Please submit your questions for the attorney. We're gonna have two attorneys. Let me take this off. We're gonna have two attorneys. Those two attorneys is gonna be Joe Broski and Joel the Shark Lopez. Mr. Lopez is an expert at RICO charges. So anybody who has any questions, I am not taking questions from the chat. So do not get upset if I do not read any questions from the chat, because I ask you guys to submit your questions to 770-856-3091. That number again is 770-856-3091. That is where you're going to submit all your questions, because I got to get all the questions together and I have to have it ready for when we do our interview for our two guests. They're going to answer any questions that you guys may have in regard to the RICO charges and things like that. You can even talk about Robert's case, because they are not the attorneys on the case. They can give you their opinion and things like that. So be prepared, and I'll see you guys later on at 8 o'clock promptly, and I'm going to contact them. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Me too.
Thanks, everybody, for the support and love.
Yeah. Tomorrow, what time did you guys want to continue this tomorrow?
Maybe what, like 12-ish, I guess.
Same time?
Yeah, it's fine with me. Yes.
Okay, same time. We could do it the same time tomorrow. But guys, thank you so much. And please, any fellas that want to do the male part, we need the male part. We're keeping the same people. Hopefully my Nicole will be back so she can share the spotlight with the other Nicole.
Yes.
Much. All right. So Kanika, you okay? You did a good job. The other Kanik didn't show up.
Yes. I like that role of Kenny though.
You do?
He did really good. You did really well.
But Don, the original Kenny would be back. I'm just a standby.
Okay, so Stephen is going. T. Stephen is our Demetrius. So T. Stephen, you bring it on, okay? When you're ready. All right, guys.
All right, guys. See y'all.
All right.
All right, see you guys at 8
Y'all
o'clock
later.
tonight. Send your questions
okay.
in. All right, guys.
All
Have a
right.
good day.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Peace out.
Love you guys. Bye.